Wake up, Juju. Time to go to work.
All right, can we talk about
Wake up, I get it, Wake up, I get it, I go with everyone saying I'm up next. It's not my fault that the vocals are gold, that making the haters so upset. My life is a movie, the way that I roll. They saying I'm goofy, but baby, you know I'm making everybody upset. Cause we the best, how we get wrecked, and I know we gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread.
My name is Báyan Joonam. I'm the director of Phoenix Jones, and you're on Straw Hat Goofy.
So I'm really excited to talk to you about this, man. Like, I think it's like the perfect intersection of things that I love, superheroes, movies, but watching this, like, I knew about Phoenix Jones, like, just from the headlines and things like that, and I just thought it was just an insane headline, or like, nobody's actually really doing that, right? And this doc really enlightened me on Ben, it enlightened me on the Phoenix Jones and like everything that shook out of that. Can you tell me, what was your introduction to Phoenix Jones and like what made you want to kind of like cover this story in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm also a huge fan of superhero films.
Yeah.
Like, grew up every summer coming to the States and like wanting to watch the Marvel movies, wanting to watch the DC universe.
Right.
And just like, I think there's something about that clean narrative that felt really comforting.
Yeah.
So in about 2019, well, I can tell you exactly, it was November of 2019.
Okay.
The real life superhero community got on my radar. And my previous work has always been about people on the fringes of society, these outrageous characters, and finding a way to ground them in humanity.
Right.
Like explaining how someone made a decision that to the outside person looks totally crazy and outrageous.
Yeah.
And then like really spending some time with them so that the audience can feel like maybe if you had a similar set of circumstances, you might find yourself in this cult or this conspiracy rabbit hole, or,
Yeah.
you know, putting on a superhero suit and stopping crime in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I had a list of like 100 of these real life superheroes that I was like, I'm just going to start hitting the DMs and seeing who I could start interviewing. Fast forward about 2 months, and this headline comes across my screen: real life superhero arrested for selling drugs to undercover police officers.
That hits every mark of like hero, villain.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then you read, this is the Seattle Times article, right? That like comes out the day after he is
Yeah.
still in jail.
Oh my gosh.
And they published this article, and I'm just reading the article, and it was suspicious, the whole circumstance around it. Because like, if as an outsider, you're looking at this guy who spent 10 plus years trying to make the city a better
being
place.
a superhero, yeah.
You see police on camera that he's interacting with, collaborating with from time to time. Didn't seem like a contentious relationship.
Yeah.
So the question I actually went into the film with was like, why would the police put so much time and effort to bring this guy down?
Yeah.
So after, I don't know how many DMs it took to like actually like catch him, I guess, at a moment where he was open to talking, and like I got him on FaceTime, and I was just like, you know what, I'll come to Seattle tomorrow. I just got that vibe from him that I was just like, if I don't move on this right away, I might lose it. So I flew to Seattle the next day, and that's actually the footage you see when we go into the riot.
Right.
We were supposed to just do an interview.
Oh, wow.
I thought we were just going to do like an interview. I was going to make a 3-minute sizzle reel.
Right.
And then go and try to pitch it.
You just got thrown straight into it all.
But he was like, on the way to the interview, he goes and he's just like, yo, the city needs me right now. Like, he FaceTimed, he's like, the city needs me. I'm getting tweets from everybody. I'm coming out of retirement to go and stop a riot.
And that's the fascinating thing too, is like he already had kind of like, I want to say, his prime superhero. And like obviously in the doc you cover like how he went into retirement, why he walked away from it, his Spider-Man No More arc basically, right?
Yeah,
which I found very fascinating that actually happened in real life for him. But I was like, oh wow, he came out of retirement to continue doing the work, and the fact that you were there to capture that's absolutely insane. But something that I was thinking about while watching this, and that you just said very accurately right now, is the superhero community, at least depicted in the way that I was seeing it, it felt kind of like a cult, right? And the way he's described definitely had this like cult leader vibe. I told you I've been watching a lot of movies here for South by Southwest, and there's a film called oh my God, I'm forgetting the name right now, but the Seekers of Infinite Love, which centers around someone who got joined a cult, and her siblings are trying to find it, and so I'm like having that in my head, and I'm watching this, and they're describing him as charismatic, how he's kind of like, he has this undeniable charm to him that just makes you want to follow him, be a part of what he's doing. And it just made me think like how, again, the people who are on the fringes of society just need like a place to belong, like a sense of purpose. And he provided that, right? And so what you're saying right now, like coming out of retirement saying the city needs me, it's hard to not gravitate towards someone like that, right?
It's like, imagine that, you are in a fraught situation at home. Mm-hmm. What is more appealing than meeting this guy who's going to transform your entire identity,
gives you a whole name,
alter ego, gives you a costume, connects you with all these things, puts you at the center of the news, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Like, I think context is important for when they were really starting out. This is early 2010s, right? Think about it. It's like when the MCU was full swing.
Yeah.
Everybody had superhero on the brain. Mm-hmm. So the fact that this guy, and he has a whole squad like the Avengers.
A whole team of people. Midnight Jack. I was like, this guy.
He's amazing. Can we just give a moment for Midnight Jack?
Honestly, Midnight Jack like had me cracking up the whole time. He seemed like someone that like, he threw him a mask and said, "You're Midnight Jack down." He was like, "Shit, okay." And he never lost his kind of like sense of self. Like he was very much just like, "Oh yeah, man, like I'm gonna keep it real. Like I'm gonna put this mask on. I'm gonna keep it real." Like he had his gun in the middle of the interview. I was like, he's such an interesting character, and that's the type of people he was putting on the team.
There's a whole spin-off film about honestly, Midnight Jack and his arc and all of that, because he is an amazing character. And yeah, he shows up to the interview with a loaded gun,
strapped.
Yeah,
sit down.
And I was just like, after the interview, I'm like, "Jack, why did you feel like you should bring a gun to an interview?" And he's just like, "Well, I didn't know y'all were going to kidnap me or whatever." And I was just like,
"Oh, wow.
Is this the context that you think's like a bunch of filmmakers with cameras are about to like...
We're going to do it on camera?" Yeah. I mean, that's a superhero life, man. You never know. You could have been a supervillain.
But like the thing about that moment too, and this is all happening in the background, is that some of our team were on the Rust film.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it was very real. You know, you have these like two forces at play, which is like this fantasy that these superheroes live in. But then the reality of our crew who had just come from this set where a horrific trauma has happened because of callousness with a gun.
Exactly.
And so, you know, it played off like a very kind of lighthearted, like, wow, what a crazy person moment.
But there was some real tension there.
Yeah, on set, it was my wife, who's also the producer on the film. She was like coming up to me like 5-6 minutes in and like tapping my shoulder. I'm like, we just got started. Like, we got to keep going. She's like, no, you need to stop the interview for a second. Like the crew is going to walk. And that was like, it's one of those moments where I think even as a director in this world, you get lost in it. Yeah. Like, I want to be in there with them. I want to be part of this fantasy that they're creating and lean in. But then you realize you're like, man,
this is like, real life, man. Like,
this is
there's actual consequences of what's happening here. And you talking about like, you know, the timing and the context of this doc happening around the time where the MCU is like really in its heyday. It's popping off. Everybody's in love with it. But I'm gonna bring up another superhero movie that fits even perfectly with that. And that's, you bring up Super in the documentary. Yeah. I was thinking of that, and I was also thinking of Kick-Ass, which is like, Super is just like the on steroids version of Kick-Ass, right? But Kick-Ass was like the first time where I was like, conceptualizing the idea of what would happen if someone actually went out into the streets and became a superhero. He'll probably die in a day. That's one of the lines that's said in the movie. And so that kind of like further contextualizes like, this is a thing with real consequences, this thing that he's doing. But the thing that always fascinated me about Kick-Ass, about Super, and about this doc is that they're happening at a time where the internet is just now starting to become what it is, right? And it made me ponder the question, could a superhero even exist in the social media age? And that's all I could think about, because a lot of what I see in this doc is Phoenix embodying the idea of you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that they may not always seem like you actually become a bad guy, but public perception is what matters. Those are the people who are going to see you as the villain. So seeing him as a superhero with like many different accusations and assumptions and these things being thrown his way, it's a little heartbreaking, right? Because like, you know, you go into it with great intentions, trying to do the right thing for your community, but there's always going to be someone saying, well, what are you really doing this for? Are you doing this for the clicks? Is this really altruistic? Are you really a superhero, or is this all just a bid for fame? So can you talk to me about kind of like those like elements coming into this while you were filming?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back to a comic book that I think about a lot, and I'll loop it around at the end, but there's a Batman comic where a like petty thief finds the identity of Batman, and he's at a bar and he's like, I know who Batman is. I want to sell this information to like the crime bosses, right? Joker, Penguin, Harvey, all these guys. And the barkeep is like, dude, you want to keep that quiet. Like, just forget what you know and walk away. So later in the film, he ends up meeting up with all of the crime bosses. Or in the comic. This is not in the film, but it's in the comics. And he's just like, I know who Batman is. And all the crime bosses are like, shut up. Don't say it. Because as soon as we unmask Batman, he has nothing left to lose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Ben's story, Phoenix's story, has a very similar arc where when he was a symbol, he was infallible because as a symbol, as Phoenix Jones, he could do no wrong because he was always crime fighting and he was busting criminals. But then as soon as he's unmasked, the world got to investigate all of the contradictions that is Ben Fodor because you know what, like he's a human. And so I think we have this tendency with especially characters like Phoenix Jones to just want to put them into a box, right? It's the monomyth, it's the hero's journey, and you need to fit into this clean narrative and live a perfect life. And as soon as you don't, social media is ready to pounce on it. So I think that's really what happened here. And when you take these stories out of the comic book, out of the screens, right? Now you end up with a story about a human person. And what are the conditions that it actually takes for a person to become Batman on the streets? Right. Especially when they're not a billionaire. Right?
He has a lot to lose. Like, you know, you reveal who Batman is, right? And Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne still has millions of dollars. He has all these resources. Now he's just like, now you know my face. I can't take any chances or prisoners or anything like that. It reminds me of the scene in The Dark Knight where the guy figures out his identity. He tells Lucius Fox, he says, you mean to tell me that the guy that you think who's a billionaire with all the resources in the world beats men to a pulp at night and your plan is to blackmail this person? And the guy immediately says, yeah, nah, I'm good with that. But in the case of Ben, you know, I could not help but feel sorry for him because I had that feeling as soon as he unmasked himself. And it also reminded me, I love how we can like flip seamlessly from comic books to the film, is it reminds me of, you know, the story where Spider-Man unveils himself during the Superhero Registration Act in the Civil War storyline. It's like, that's what puts his loved ones in danger. That's what, you know, he's a father as well. So like, there's a moment in the doc where he's like, if anybody tries to come after my kid, I'll kill him. And that any father would say that, right? But if your hero is saying things like that, that's where public perception starts to turn on you even more. And it's like, he's a man, he's a father. Like any other father who says that, like you wouldn't blink an eye. But in order to tear this guy down, it's a sad thing.
Well, I think that, like you said, two things that I wanted to just jump on, which is just like, one, I think the idea that, you know, Clark Kent, right, Peter Parker, these are like such sweethearts of people, and they're really nice guys and mild-mannered and all that. And it's just like, is that actually the personality of a guy who decides to put on a mask and fight crime?
They're very broken when you really think about it,
and
right?
that to me was like the premise of Phoenix Jones as a character, as a human being, is that like, you have to be, Rain says it best, you have to be kind of deranged to think that that is the best use of your time, money, resources, whatever. And there's something deeply broken about the person who decides to take vigilantism as like their best course of action.
Right.
And so that was how I wanted to contribute to like the superhero genre. Now that we're in this place where I feel like superhero fatigue has set in.
Yeah.
And people want more three-dimensional characters, more human characters.
Right.
And digging into that. And I think we've seen that in some of the more recent superhero stories that have been successful.
Wonder Man.
Man's, oh my God.
Wonder Man's so good, man.
So good. But that's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can feel the desire and the humanity in display. You know, that's at the forefront of the story, the betrayal between the two characters.
The betrayal, man. My gosh, dude. With what's that one superhero name? The Red Ranger? In the doc.
Oh my God.
I was thinking to myself, like, superheroes and the superhero community have beef with each other, which,
oh dude,
you know,
the beef, you can't imagine how much beef there is in this world. Like,
there's a lot of beef, guys. I don't know if you guys seen the movie, but like, I was really thinking to myself, like, you guys are here like under the umbrella of doing the right thing for your community, but like there's dislike between you guys. And I was like, it reminds me, it was like, this is Captain America and Iron Man all over again. Or it's like Batman and Superman when they first started. It was very fascinating to me to see that. But as you said, there's a lot of betrayal there. Like, you know.
There is like, you know, the film is pushing 2 hours, right? Which I know is a lot for a documentary, but it's a life story. So that's where it like, keeps it moving. Red Ranger was actually in the real life superhero movement.
Oh,
originally.
Yeah.
So they have a very long backstory, Ben and Red Ranger.
Okay.
And it's so interesting because Red Ranger at a certain point changed his persona to become Red Ranger. And I can't reveal who he was before that, but if you Google it and, you know, do your research, you might be able to find out. They take this very seriously, so I don't want to break the cone of silence around that.
For sure.
But those two in particular really are like a foil to one another because Ben's the guy who, in a violent situation, he's an MMA fighter.
Right, of course.
He will shut it down. Red Ranger, in a lot of ways, represents what I think most other real-life superheroes are like, where he is a really good intentioned person. He's an EMT nurse, right, in his day job.
Yeah.
He has a heart of gold. Like, he is the sweetest man under the mask, like, truly. And so in a way, the dynamic between these two is fascinating because it does represent Ben's relationship with the larger real life superhero community at large, who mostly want nothing to do with him.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, he's like on the Reddit board of real life superheroes. They've banned discussion of Phoenix Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I did not know this.
That's what happens when you're honestly just like take all of the attention in a way that is just like, they can't really compete with, I think, like his credibility as a fighter and as a superhero. So they're just like, we don't want to even fucking,
I mean, like I said, it's very interesting when, like, again, it's the power of social media, right? It's like, you know, he's so like huge and it's like unanimously known. Like, I remember when I was like, you know, I read the headlines and everything, but I remember Ken here was like, oh yeah, like I remember when that was all going on and he poured over every article, and I was thinking to myself,
you're on YouTube, right? So you're watching this on YouTube all go down.
This was about 10 years ago. I just happened to it's about 10 years ago. I just happened to come across Phoenix Jones on the internet. I'm like, oh wow, this guy's story is very interesting. I'm going to follow along. And I kept up for like a couple week or two, and then it went down a rabbit hole with other real life superheroes and whatnot. And
the algorithm did its thing.
And it exactly.
Next thing you know, you open up YouTube and it's nothing but superhero content.
That's
yeah.
You see?
No, and he's always number one on like the top 10 real life superheroes list. It goes through like all of the greatest hits, Master Legend, you know, Red Ranger will probably be in there. But then it's like number one, Phoenix Jones has stopped crimes on camera. Here he is stopping an assault. Here he is stopping a carjacking. And it's like, I think there's something about the footage because it's so impressionistic in a way that it leaves enough room for Ben to fill in the gaps. And he's such a good storyteller.
Oh yeah, 100%. that's what makes him so charismatic. That's what draws people to him. Like the way he even like words it, like you said, when you said you met him, he was like, oh, the city needs me. I need to do these type of things. And you could tell it's not like he's not consciously thinking of these things to sound this way. This is just how he is. And you can't help but just like fall in love with somebody as like natural as that, right? So he's such a one of a kind, you know, individual. And, you know, coming from a place of like being a father, I have an 8-year-old daughter. And so seeing him like from his son being born to like them hanging out and singing karaoke with each other, like it's such a humanizing thing that you did in this doc, especially like after everything that he kind of goes through, and then just kind of like ending it on this moment of just him being a dad and like him loving his son, and his son just being like, I love my dad. He's a real life superhero, but I don't condone everyone does what he does. My dad is a very unique individual. He's equipped for that type of thing.
You know, shout out to Freedom, because he has not participated in any other like storytelling around his dad. Any podcast, any video, anything that's been done, Freedom's like, I don't want anything to do with this. It took me years. Really? No joke, years to be able to build the relationship in a place where we were like, listen, this is not actually about Phoenix Jones. Right. This is about Ben Fodor. And we need somebody who can give us the reality of him as a dad and what that was like growing up, not totally knowing if your dad was, you know, Batman. Yeah. You know? Like, can you imagine? Like, that
I didn't even think about that as a kid. It's like my dad actually does like do the things that you read about in the comics.
And, you know, the thing that was so touching as well was that how aware Freedom was about the trauma that this lifestyle has created for his dad. Right. You know, like how much it deeply impacted him. And then Ben, who was trying his best to hide that. So when Ben saw the film the first time, that was one of the things that I think touched him emotionally the most, was just hearing how clear-eyed Freedom was about the consequences of this lifestyle. Yeah. And so that was the...
Yep, it was great dad. All right. Very
flew by.
It flew by, man. We could talk about this forever, dude. Like, I need to like catch you on another day so we can like really get into superheroes film, and
let's do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming by, bro.
Thank you.
Hey, man, this is incredible. And thank you so much for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
Hi, I'm Sophia Macy.
I'm Ben Wang.
I'm Will Ropp.
I'm Jacob Moskovitz.
And I'm Peyton Elizabeth Lee.
We're Báyan, and this is Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy.
Lovely. Love it, love it, love it. It was so much. So, couple things that I want to get started with here. Ben's been on this show before for Karate Kid Legends, and we had a really great time talking about film and everything. And I got to tell you something, man. You are in rare company when it comes to being on the show. You and Ryan Coogler are the only people that we have traveled for.
Is that true?
That is very true.
Holy shit.
Very true.
You should say that every day now.
Holy Lord.
Absolutely. So you're worth it, buddy.
That's nuts.
Wow. It's pretty nuts. We love it here. So we're super glad to be here at South by Southwest. Did you guys movies premiere already? How was that experience, having like to watch that with the crowd? What was like the atmosphere like? Just let me know how y'all were feeling.
It was crazy. It was surreal. It was, I'm a first-time feature director, so I never experienced anything like that. So it was nuts to watch it with like 300 people. It was crazy.
Yeah. So my only regret was that I couldn't watch it with you guys because one, coming of age is my entire shit. I love coming of age movies, and I'm really glad that you made your directorial debut with that type of genre. But I'm very curious as to why you wanted to do that type of thing as your first movie. Like, what is your connection there?
I kind of was like, I don't know if this is a good answer, but I feel I'm never getting younger, right? So like this is the youngest I'll ever be and the most connected I'll be to my high school self. Yeah. So it's like maybe the first thing I do should be a high school movie. Yeah.
It's like you're kind of creating a tether to this moment in time, right?
Totally. Yeah.
We've talked about this with like a lot of our interviews, but it's really funny how when you make a movie, you release it into a world that's completely different than when you started.
Absolutely.
And so having this like be like, oh, I remember this when I was like just coming out of high school, like I'm the youngest I'll ever be. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring it right back to Ben as well, because I feel like all roads lead to Ben here.
Completely agree.
So we've had Francis Lawrence on the show, and as a lot of people know, like, you know, The Long Walk was one of my favorite films of 2025. Also, The Hunger Games is coming out, which he's also in, and he said that he was really happy to make that movie because you're an actual actor. That's literally what he said on this show. It's documented, right? And I could not help but agree, because you are really good at creating characters and these little choices that you make that, like, I think you're one of the most underrated character actors that is working right now, and I'm really happy to see what you're doing. With this particular role, you are kind of like honoring like people with real neurological, like, you know, disorders and things like that. So I want to know, like, from your standpoint, how do you go about honoring that in your performance and still crafting the character of Báyan?
Well, I felt like most of the reality of the character came from me as I already am and as I was. I think the only difference between me and the character is that there are certain things that are more heightened. But I think for Báyan, like, all the things that like trigger him, all the things that like make him freak out, all the things that make him scared are the same things that make me, that have the same effect on me. So it was like, where he's coming from as a character was very easy for me.
Right.
I just brought in 100% my own lived experience, and then, you know, the rest of the work was just giving him like a more heightened emotional and physiological response to those things. The rest of this, I didn't do any research for this. I didn't read how to be a teenage loser 101. I lived it.
Because we've all been there.
Yeah,
we've
exactly.
all been there. Like, my God, I just got flashbacks to my sophomore year in high school. You know, but like, yeah, I'm far from high school too, so thank you for that, for making me remember that type of thing. But what I really like about this movie, again, coming of age is my whole entire shit, and I feel like what makes a great coming of age movie is like the cast you surround the main protagonist with. Like, I love everyone here, and I want to get into you like very individually, but just to bring the question to everyone here, when you read the script and you see these different personalities, and then you get your own personality and what you can bring to this script, what was your immediate thought? Did you feel like you wanted to stack up to everyone else? Because we talked about like love triangles earlier on this podcast, and Corey was like, Corey Michael Smith was like, you know what? I don't want to be the dumb point on the love triangle, because then it's just a line. Like, he wants to, like, he just wants to live up to that. So I just want to know from you, as like the cast that rounds this beautiful thing out, like, did you feel any pressure to like make your character like stand out or anything like that? I don't know who wants to start. But I'll start with Peyton. She's looking at me.
Yeah.
Everyone else was thinking she was like.
Oh yeah, I was
very focused. I like it.
I mean, I would say like one thing that I felt was so great and unique about the script from the very first time that I read it is you kind of don't need to like go out of your way to make your mark. Like, every character is so memorable, is so fleshed out, has so many nuances and dynamics to them, which as an actor is so exciting to go in and, you know, play like a peripheral character that still feels very fleshed out and very three-dimensional. And so I think because of that, at least for me personally, I didn't feel any like need to like go make a meal out of something, because every character has like a really great arc, a really great moment, if not many moments. And so I think, you know, getting to see all of these very talented people bring those moments to life and, you know, find more colors and more textures than were already on the page was just so fun for me to get to see. Very inspiring.
I really like what you're saying right now, and it's gonna sound weird, but you remind me a lot of like Kobe Bryant. I'm a super huge Kobe Bryant like stan when it comes to basketball, and again, I'm gonna bring it back around, I promise. But I'll bring it back around, I promise. But what I'm hearing from you is like it's a lot of like trust in the material and trust in your own ability and your cast's ability. And I remember back in 2010, I was watching the Lakers win the championship in Game 7, and Kobe did not have a great shooting night. Not many people remember that. But you could tell he was trying really hard to like be the guy, like pull his team together, because like, you know, he's Kobe Bryant. But it was his team that kind of like helped him up and made him be the best who he can be. And at the end of the game, I remember he said, I wanted it so bad that it started to get away from me. And so when you said that like you didn't feel like you needed to like make a meal out of it because you trusted everybody, I'm like, that's some Mamba mentality stuff right there. And we brought it
I like
back.
this comparison.
Peyton, you are the
agree.
epitome of the mama
Thank you so
mentality.
much.
I've
Thank
always
you,
said
thank
this
you.
about you.
Yes. I've heard this before many times. Yeah.
You give goat. You give goat.
You are the GOAT. You are Kobe Bryant. But now I want to like piggyback off what you're saying about kind of like making everyone layered and bring it to you, like because like I feel like your character is so goddamn layered because she comes off as like very abrasive. Like you could say that she's almost depicted as like the almost other end of the spectrum feminist. She's very like in everyone's faces. She's like, some will argue hypersexualized. I would argue very confident in her sexuality, but she's very, very empathetic. Right? Like right after doing something like, oh, I'm going to take my clothes off in front of everybody as like a fourth thing of revolution, you look at Brian and say, you got this, buddy. And I'm like, oh my God, like she's not just one thing. Like I just feel like you were channeling somebody. Like I could not shake that feeling because it felt like people that I know in my life who have all these different things, but they're just so nurturing. Were you channeling anybody there?
Ooh, I wasn't thinking of anyone in particular, but I do think I tried to lean into all the ways that she contradicts herself in the best way. Like she's a feminist and believes in breaking down the caste structure of high school, but she's also dating the school bully. Because why shouldn't I? You know, it's like because I'm a woman, I can't date the school bully. He's hot.
Can't argue with that.
He's a good kisser. That's all you need to know. But yeah, I think that's what's so cool about all of these characters. It's like they're all so layered and three-dimensional, and it was so fun to play. Also, a popular girl who's popular for all the right reasons.
I was thinking that too.
You know, which I feel like is something that you don't come across very much. So, yeah, I don't know if I don't know. It so feels like someone I know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of anyone in particular.
No, but that means you created it yourself and you became someone that somebody knows now. So I now know you. That's great. Now, Jake, speaking of the school, like what I liked about your character was that he felt, how can I say this, very familiar to.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing.
He felt
I
very
hear that.
familiar to a lot of, shall we say, leaders that are in charge of a lot of things. Can you talk to me about, like, let's just unpack that. Like, what can we unpack?
Well, that last scene, just that tremendous opportunity in the writing to really channel okay, what, some political satire, just I'm like,
Yes.
what's the origin of these people that we see every day? That was definitely on my mind while we were shooting this. But more so the relatability of it. Excuse me, it wasn't a one-to-one comparison to high school, but I could really, really relate to that grip on life that you have in high school, 12 AP classes. You have to be class president. You have to what it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
And you run over everybody to succeed, and where's the empathy in that experience? And someone completely consumed by that. I was really fascinated in, and then getting to act opposite these guys, it was so easy to play counterpoint to what they were doing, and but yeah, I also I ran for class president, and so many people in our cast actually did, and our producing team, which is so funny.
Wow.
And I lost, and it's a very shameful experience because you run that Snapchat campaign, and you just don't make it to the finish line, and so this really was a revenge story for me personally as well.
It was therapeutic for you.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a tremendous opportunity, and to work with Will, who just free reign on set. The best idea won, and to kind of go anywhere with that. It was great.
I feel like your character kind of represented the end of the spectrum where a lot of the school understands Brian's hang-ups and his perspectives, right? He's not bullied for the sake of being bullied. They're just kind of hey, we get it, it's not your fault, but you're still struggling with this. And then you have that moment where you just break. There's a moment where fucking Brian?
I love that line so much. Brian.
We couldn't find the actual proper insult for him on the day,
we kept,
and so we kept running a couple different things. We're backpack guy, and then I was why don't we just call him his name?
That once he did it was just yep, that's
the worst thing we could call him was his own name.
His own name. And I felt that. I was oh my God, just calling his name felt like a hard ER for some reason. I don't know why.
The worst insult you could ever get. Someone was you fucking Will?
I fucking paused it. Was that was was really good. So good job with that. Now I want to bring this back to Will and I was gonna call you Brian. Fucking Brian. I want to bring this back to you two. Like, as you guys are like working on a day-to-day to the set, like I like how there's still accountability held for Brian in this film, right? Because even though he is going through a lot that you could totally empathize with, he still can be very like in his own head and thinks about himself when he has a friend right there who's also going through things. And I like that there was a moment that said, hey, I get that you're going through what you're going through, but you still haven't asked me about me. Like, you still have these type of things. So when you guys were like kind of like crafting Brian on the day, how did those conversations go, and how did you get him to be like the best version of the character for the film?
Well, I think that you're right. There's a lot of there's repercussions to his actions, even though he is experiencing a lot of his own shit. And I guess I don't know. I think that just came from the script. Like, that was just refreshing to see Scollin's screenplay. Kind of like, I feel like no other movies, or not a lot of movies, kind of explore the other side of like, yeah, these people are going through a lot of shit, but they're also messing up other people's worlds, and you have to think about others even when you're not feeling great. Yeah,
I agree. I was gonna say pretty much the exact same thing. So yeah, great job, Will.
Nice, keep it short. I was gonna. So you guys are realizing this about me. I can take anything and bring it back to what we're talking about. That's just how my mind works.
And bring it back to
Kobe.
Kobe.
I thought you were going to say bring it back to Kobe Bryant.
It's not a Kobe Bryant one. Probably not as good as the Kobe Bryant one. It's more of a Big Bang Theory one, right? Where you have like Sheldon Cooper, who obviously is like this super genius, but it's very hard at reading like social cues and those type of things. And I remember this moment where he's talking to his older brother, who he hasn't talked to in years. And he said that, I was trying to protect you. Like, we know that you've had it hard, but that doesn't mean it's easy for the rest of us. Yep. And that's what those moments in this movie like definitely like shows. And I really appreciated that watching it. So Great job on that. So I like to ask my guests this question. A movie that changes your brain chemistry, that created the building blocks to who you are. Doesn't have to be the most cinephile answer, but something you saw that was like, wow, like I've been changed. Does anybody have a movie like that you could recommend us on this show right now?
The Last Unicorn.
Okay.
Saw it when I was little, and it just completely, totally changed my brain chemistry.
Our editor is like raising his hand back there.
It's so
really
good.
Happy.
It's a kid's movie, but it ends uplifting, but also like bleak, but in a way that you're like, oh.
Yeah. If I feel that, then I'm gonna hit you up and be like, I got it.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I would say Sliding Doors.
Okay.
It's so good, but it's basically about how like every decision you make in your life can like completely split your life into different directions.
Yep.
Okay. And it's like, it's a beautiful like rom-com, but it also just makes you think about like life and your choices and like the path you're on, and how it's the combination of everything you've ever decided to do or not do. And it kind of exploded my brain a little bit.
You're exploding my brain right now because one of my favorite movies of all time, and I consider this a perfect movie, is Your Name. And there's always this motif in the movie where there's a sliding door, right, motif that like it's like constantly like in the edit. And I was like, why do they keep showing this sliding door? It's been the one thing that's been bothering me. And that movie is about like time and the tethers and like, finding your like person, no matter like where you at or at a certain place. And I'm like, oh, it's connected. Okay, now I'm going to watch this and like put it together. Thank you for that. I really had a moment where I was like, I get it now. It's great. All right, Will, Jacob, and Ben, I don't know if yours has changed, but you could think about it a little longer.
Mine, I think, and I don't think it has to do with the actual story itself, but The Puffy Chair by the Duplass brothers.
Okay.
It just like made me feel like film was like tangible and like anybody can make a movie kind of. And it made it more accessible. Because he just made it for like $15,000 with his friends, and it went to Sundance, and it just made me like view the whole industry different. And it wasn't when I was like little. This was like during college when I saw it. So yeah, it was definitely impactful.
Your brain chemistry could change at any time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel like it's
changing right now.
This didn't make filmmaking feel accessible at all, but like all that jazz I saw in high school. My theater teacher showed it to me, and I was just like, it just completely changed my mind of what a movie could be, and like how you could use the camera. And I mean, I don't. That movie is just so. It just every time I see it, it just continues to like evolve inside of itself. It's crazy. Yeah.
All that jazz. Wait a minute. Sorry, I was like, I think Angela Bassett might have said that was one of her favorite movies of all time. So you might have something in common with Angela Bassett. Wow. Yeah.
There's your comparison.
Angela Bassett.
I always felt that deep inside.
All right, Ben, final one.
I'll give you another one. I'll give you one that's
Yes.
different from the one I gave you last time. Juno.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Juno.
Yes.
Juno. I saw that when I was like 19 or 20. I was just coming out of being a teenager, and that movie like stomped out the last like vestige of like teenage cynicism in my brain. I was like, the world is beautiful. Everybody's awesome. You know, everybody's trying their hardest. God damn it. And also I feel like Michael Cera's performance in that movie.
Yes.
I felt like it, like me watching it, I was like, oh, like I could do something like that. and here we are.
Thank you, Michael Cera.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael Cera.
I like, you need to meet Michael Cera and tell him this story now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Juno did something similar for me, where I think that was the first indie movie that I consciously watched and was like, movies can be made like this, because up until then I was just watching like big budget comedies, action, things like that. But that was like the first small movie where I was like, this is very human. We could tell human stories, and I actually dig it. Like, so that was like my first introduction to that. But my gosh, thank you so much, guys, for talking to me about movies.
It's been a pleasure. It's so fun.
Absolute
It's
pleasure.
been
a lot of fun. So what we got? We got Angela Bassett, Ryan Coogler, and Kobe Bryant.
These are our walkaways for today.
Crazy lineup
for this show, guys. Well,
And this is Brian.
Brian.
And we're Brian.
And we're Brian.
Get wrecked.
You're on Brian.
Oh, I hope we're all Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
I'm Rob Boardman.
Donny Divanian.
Christian Duguay.
Kirk Fox. We're here with Plantman and Blondie on Get Wrecked
With Straw Hat and Goofy.
Perfect. Perfect. We love it. Now, I have been running up and down these South by Southwest streets, and I've been telling everybody about this damn movie, because I've been describing it as LA's Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay.
Nice.
It has like this wonderfully like dry, straightforward humor, but characters say these things that always make me chuckle, always make me laugh. But it's also just this really cool story about friendship. It has like a Batman and Robin feel to it. And as someone who's a native to LA, it was really cool to see that portrayed on screen and those type of things. Can you talk to me about like, where the hell did this idea come from? Because I don't think anyone's brave enough to make a movie and succeed at it as well as you guys did.
Well, thank you so much. That's so cool to hear all that. We make a lot of web series, videos, and so we do a lot of just experimenting and developing things like early on. And so we made a web series called Corey's Fiddle Leaf, and it just started as like a sketch, about Corey microdosing mushrooms, and he's got some fiddles, and he takes one of them out to the woods to teach it a lesson, because it's it was bigger than the other fiddle in his living room. Anyway, point being, that was like the ground in which we kind of developed this like really specific idea. Yeah. But it kind of, the world of plants and these two characters emerged out of this like world that we had already developed.
Yeah, we made like 6 of these web videos with these same characters, and so we'd talked about the world and the characters so much. By the time the movie came around, we already kind of knew how the characters would interact, kind of knew the rhythm, kind of knew the world of it,
Yeah, it's so funny. It makes me think of the one of my favorite versions of that type of storytelling is a Good Burger. I don't know if you guys have all seen Good Burger, but it started off on like all that, and then like the feature length movie, and it's really cool to put a feature story like around these characters that you come to love, give them more dimension and those type of things. For all the cast involved, like what was the most exciting thing about like expanding these characters in this feature length format? You get to do more with it that you can't really do in a web series. What was the fun in that?
Well, I can say it was just fun to see Fox's evolution.
Yeah.
My character, I felt that Corey was a fiddle leaf. In my brain, he was the plant that needed to get outside and get some sunlight and a little water, something to fill the soul and kind words.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked for me. And I treated the movie like it was Heat. You know, I thought it was
right, 100%.
I thought it was a heist movie.
Yeah.
And until I saw it yesterday, I didn't know that it was a comedy. To me, it was just a love story about these guys. But something came to me in the elevator as we were leaving, and you mentioned it before we got on the air that it kind of changed your dynamic.
Yeah, brain chemistry.
And my brain says that this movie is Miracle Grow for the soul.
Oh, okay.
Because this movie, I saw people leave the theater and they just felt better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those movies that I feel like people need to watch
Yes.
because, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now. And like a simple story about love your plants, dude. Love your plants, love yourself, right? Get out.
Love your neighbor.
Love your neighbor.
We're all in it together.
That part right there. So remind me of the actor's name, but he's the one who had me cracking up the most where he kept saying, yo, am I tripping?
That's Brent.
Yeah. It's like that.
You'll see him in a minute.
Yeah. We'll see him in a minute. And every single time, you're like, all right, y'all, let's ball. Like, like it's all these type of things. And what's so funny is like what you said. I feel that you were treating this like a Heat movie. You play it like with such like a serious zeal, but it fits in with everyone else. And that's what gives this movie like those extra dimensions of like, they treat this thing very, very seriously.
The sincerity.
The sincerity of
everything. I think everything these guys do when they write for Dress Up Gang there's a sincerity and friendship theme throughout. It's always very positive.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see how you're going to fit into it because it really does grow. They'll give you the script and the idea, and there's just so much fun improvising. We know each other so well. So it's always exciting, especially in the beginning, to see how something is going to organically grow into what it becomes.
So
I think the gang as a whole, they realize the weight of whatever it is that we're talking about. It can be the simplest thing, but I think, you know, I joined them in 2017 and they've been together since 2010.
Yeah.
So this is 16 years leading up to this. And I've been with them 9 years, and whatever we do, we give it the weight because we value people's time.
Yeah.
The people watching it, we're not going to waste their time, whether it's a 5-minute sketch or a 2-minute or a 98-minute movie. I think that's the beauty of this film. It has something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's about friendship. It's a heist movie. It's a comedy. It's drama.
Yeah.
But it's just heart.
I didn't expect my heart to race in the scene where you guys were getting the very high value fiddle and like you're hiding under like the table and there's the Roomba going. Yeah. I was like the choreography and the pacing of that scene, like my heart was literally racing. I said, how are they gonna get this thing going? And then I see him knock it onto the thing and I'm like, oh my god! It's the heist element. The only thing that was missing was freaking Ethan Hunt like falling down and doing like the whole Mission Impossible thing.
We would have if they had the money.
Maybe the sequel.
Cool.
The sequel, right?
Give us The Wire.
Yeah. Let me get really quickly. What is a movie that changed your brain chemistry that you can recommend the pod right now?
I would say which one in my life like changed. Oh, I would say when I watched The Truman Show as a young. That thing blew my mind out when I was a kid. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started thinking about it like, am I in The Truman Show? Am I in my own? Am I being one? You know, just the story. I just couldn't get enough of that one.
I'm gonna have to talk to you later about that movie and Lil Dicky and my life because those three things, it fits.
Okay,
and we'll talk about it later. It's a whole thing. All right, who wants to go next?
For me, I would say probably the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. It's an animated movie, and I watched that when I was a kid. Like I would just after it was over, I'd get up, I'd hit rewind, and I'd play it again and just watch it over and over. Like,
I got obsessed with it when the Beatles Rock Band game came out, and I used to play Yellow Submarine. My buddy said, there's a movie. I said, what?
Yeah.
So.
Taxi Driver for me. That's kind of my go-to comedy.
He didn't know Taxi Driver was a comedy.
Yeah, I thought it was a romance.
He's the only one laughing.
I like being alone, and I like the rain and sadness. So that's Fox living in his van by choice. I could probably live anywhere, but I've chosen that van just for movement.
Chose that Taxi Driver lifestyle.
Yeah, denim.
That Travis Bickle lifestyle.
Denim.
The Travis Bickle lifestyle. I like that. It's a choice.
And Caddyshack. So, I balance it out.
Taxi
the drama
Driver. That's a drama.
The drama Caddyshack.
Yeah. But for brain chemistry, I think Eraserhead was a movie where it's like where you see a movie that is with the stuff David Lynch does where it's a horror and it's a comedy all at once. You can be scared and laughing.
That's marriage. It's marriage. I'm in it.
Don't we know it?
I'm in it.
You can ask all three of the wives.
My marriage is leaning toward Taxi Driver.
I think that's a good scale for like your marriage. Is it Taxi Driver or is it Caddyshack?
What kind of, do I want to golf? Do I want to golf or just ice her?
Well, we're waiting.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me about your movies, guys. I've been waiting for this forever, and it did not disappoint.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm going to continue running up and down these streets talking about it.
I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for listening and watching. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
I'm Corey Lukasic.
My name is Brent Weinbach.
I'm Frankie Quiñones.
I'm Demorge Brown.
This is
Plantman and
Blondie. And you're watching
Wrecked.
Getting Wrecked with Straw Hat.
Wait, are we saying you're watching?
No, we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
That's great.
Now, guys, I just told your castmates and directors, I said, this movie, I've been running up and down these South by Southwest streets, singing the praises of this movie. And
thank you.
everyone
Thank
to
you.
Watch this movie.
Thank you.
This
Thank you.
very well may be my favorite movie of South by.
Damn,
I
thank you.
kid you not. I've been describing it as LA's Napoleon Dynamite. Right? Like,
wow.
And we start talking about it, and like these are all true. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. It's heat. It's like a very sincere story about friendship and loving yourself and loving plants. And it's so funny. A lot of my favorite lines come from you, Brent, going, "Dude, I'm tripping."
Oh, I'm glad you like the tripping stuff. Yeah.
He was like, "All right, guys, remember if you see something, you are not tripping."
Yeah.
Let's ball. There's so many great
ball.
lines. It's so quotable. It's so funny. And like,
I
I
really
just gotta
appreciate
know,
that.
like, what was your favorite parts of like working on this together? Because you look like you've been doing this for a while. You look like you're still having a lot of fun bringing it to the masses.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the experience of making it bigger, making it better, and bringing it to everybody.
I don't know. It was really like a dream come true. We've been working together for a long time, and it all kind of came together organically. You know what I mean? We started just by making web videos, a web series. We made a television show back in 2017, and then we kept making content that was getting good reviews. We kind of built up like this cult following, and then we got this opportunity to make a feature. And it had its challenges, trying to keep our tone and sort of our brand to carry throughout a length of a feature. But I think, we pulled it off, man. And then more importantly, it was just like for it to be so warm and optimistic and kind of like a breath of fresh air, considering where the world is right now. We're kind of living in a twilight zone. But I love it because we're all kind of nice to each other and trying to genuinely help each other out.
Right.
And but the first screening was my first time seeing it in a room full of people on the big screen. And man, it felt so good. I was getting the chills because everybody was laughing and everybody got the jokes because we're like, we hope people get it, they're with it, man. And to hear your compliments right now, and then like you obviously get it what we were trying to do, so it's just like it's putting a huge smile on my face right now. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. But my favorite part to your question is also just there's like 8 or 9 of us in the movie, and we're all friends, and it was just so fun to get to film with each other. And the movie, it came together fast, and making a movie is hard, and we'd never done it before. And so we really had to rely on each other. And some of the lines you said you love were Brent improvising, and so as much as we wrote the movie in advance, there was also tons of exploration on the day of and leaning into everybody's kind of voice.
Right.
And it was just a blast.
Yeah. I mean, some of the improvisation, there's some funny stuff that, couldn't be included in the movie that hopefully maybe deleted scenes will come out at one point because there's some funny stuff.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys.
Brent's bitter about some jokes we had to cut.
The what?
He said you're bitter about some of the jokes.
Oh, no. Well, there is the one bit about this rotted shark. We had, the next door guys when they get together. Kevin's really into. This is not in the movie, but it was. He's really into Iceland, and he would fix us up some rotted shark. And we were into it too. We got, is this rotted shark? It's good. This is good. This stuff is rotted. How long has this been rotted for? This is good. Anyway, maybe one day people will see that.
I would love to see.
Just like my favorite part is because I came in sort of right before the TV show, or right as the TV show was going on. And there are a lot of different sets you can go to and things you can work into. I had seen a short of theirs a year before that. And I thought, how do I get into that? How do I do what those guys are doing with those kinds of people and that kind of camaraderie? And about a year later, I got a call saying, hey, do you want to try and read for us for this thing, which I did. And since the beginning, the vibe has been really excellent, to the extent that when I got to set and did my first scene, I just kind of, they say action, I went in, I said some stuff, and then I had to put on gloves, rubber gloves. And I think they hadn't factored in that it takes a long time to put rubber gloves on.
He was a doctor, you put these latex gloves on.
So during all this, and I'm playing a doctor, and so as I put them on, I just started improvising stories about where latex gloves come from, and I started talking about milkmaids who were chafing their hands, and
just all made up.
And then they would cut because Donny, you're laughing, and then every subsequent take, it takes the same amount of time each time. So there was a different story. I just kept changing the story.
That was the last time we wrote latex gloves into a scene.
But the thing is, though, what I realized is that, okay, the script is there, do the script, but afterward, or even during, if something comes up, just play, and you never know. And they kept a lot of stuff, and so that sort of, in the movie, when they called, I was like, I know what type of set I'm going to, I know how much fun it's going to be, and because it was a bigger set, there were more people there from outside the group who were there to support us in different ways, but they'd always kind of go, all right, there he is. He's by himself. And I go over and go, isn't this kind of weird working this way? You have to understand, I'm a producer, and so I like to know.
Apparently,
and I would just and I'd just be like, watch, you'll see. It happens.
The cool thing is, you guys have been doing this for a while, and there's an element of we have a fan base, there is a success here. But for someone who's getting introduced to it like a producer, they're like, what the hell are we making?
What's going on?
And you got to say, we trust each other.
We back this. What is it?
And again, I was introduced to this whole thing through this movie, so now I'm going to go back and watch all those.
You're going to have a good time.
Introducing me to this whole world that I just want to dive into.
We have a shorthand.
Well, someone told us, they're like, you guys are more like a band. You kind of the roles are not clear, and everyone kind of is an amorphous group working together, and
everybody finds their lane.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that's clear is how much I want Corey in between my legs, and I try to set that up for our interview here.
That was in our writer. We're like, I'll do the interview, but I
need Corey right in here. Because I need him close to my crotch.
Right in the pocket.
Right in there. Frankie, same.
This is how much I trust him. That's the trust right here.
I want to see how much I trust him to show them this photo.
Embrace the heat.
Well, guys, I really wish I could talk about this movie all day with you guys, but I think that's all the time that we have left. Really appreciate you guys making the movie.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man. Thanks for saying such good things too.
Seriously. Thank you. Oh my God, and I love that you caught the One Piece reference as well, the Straw Hat thing. We're gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, and as always, can I be your movie guy?
We're gonna get bread. We're gonna get bread.
McKenna Tuckett.
I'm Megan Rico.
I'm Addie Madden Cabrera.
I'm Kate Atwood.
This is Edie Arnold is a Loser.
And you're on Get Wrecked with Straw Hat.
You guys brought me a gift?
Yes.
This is actually new for the whole show. Nobody's ever brought me a gift for the show before.
Wow.
So this is a Get Wrecked first. And oh my God, what is it? Oh, hold up. Ooh, what? scan this, and if you don't have a VCR,
you don't have to scan it. It's got our trailer on it. We actually put the trailer onto the VHS tape.
Yeah.
So buy a VCR.
Cade went to like thrift stores everywhere and like bought a bunch of old VHS tapes, and we just put. So you get like it'll be our trailer, and then whatever movie was on there.
Listen, honestly, I do have a VCR. No
way.
I actually do.
Okay,
so
you gotta let us know.
I'll make a whole video about it.
Yes.
So
Please.
watch this cut to me opening, like we're watching this on the VCR. Oh, this is great. What else do we have here? Oh, wait a minute. Edie Arnold is a loser. Her permanent record. Guys, remember when we all thought permanent records were like actual like things?
Yeah.
Like we thought it was
Terrifying.
gonna ruin our lives. Oh, this is really up. Punk fucking rock, baby. It's punk rock. I love this, y'all.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Of course.
All right, so we got to talk about this movie, right? Like, so I said this when we were talking about the movie Brian. I've watched 22 movies here at South by already, and the movie Brian is a coming of age movie. This one is a coming of age movie. So I've just been in heaven. Talk to me about like filming this movie, the time frame, the inspiration. Like I'm so intrigued with like how this movie came to be.
Yeah, totally. So the original story came from, I wrote the script like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like the first feature film I'd ever written. And then I
like that as a title for a movie right there.
What?
The first feature film that I never
First feature
written.
film I ever written. That's the alt title for this one. But so I actually went to an all-girls Catholic school. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I was like a big gangly loser. So a lot of the story is sort of taken from my own experiences.
Right.
And then Cade and I met working on a sketch show in Utah. We actually lived together in a house with like a bunch of other dudes called Dude House. There was like a guy living in a teardrop trailer in the backyard. It was a whole thing. And so that's what kind of bonded us together. And when we were looking to make a movie, he was like, do you have any scripts that are like affordable to shoot? And I was like, I guess I have this one. Like, whatever. It's about teen girls. I don't think you'll like it.
I also was like, why are you sending me this? I don't think I'm going to like it. And then I read it, and it's amazing. It's incredible. And I was like, I think we should do this together, and I think we should shoot it. We should go into production in 3 months.
Yeah, right. He called me and he was like, I think we can make a movie, and I think we can make it 3 months from now. Oh. And I was like, I don't think so. And then we did go into production like 4 months from then.
Wow.
And the production window, we shot for 10 days.
That was a 10-day shoot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. That's very impressive.
It was really hard.
I mean, it came out great.
Thank you.
It came out amazing.
It's honestly a huge testament to our actors because we had like 2 or 3 takes tops, like per setup, not even like per scene sometimes. Yeah. And like they would nail it on like the first or second one, and we were like, all right, move on. It is what it is. We're good.
See, so I came up making like TikTok videos, and I still make them to this day. And as professional as I may seem, it takes me like 20 takes to talk about one thing for 30 seconds. So to hear that you guys did that in like 1 to 2 to 3 takes, that's insane. And why aren't you making more TikToks? But for you two, let's talk about the actors really quick, because you guys are so electric in this movie. The chemistry is so amazing. But as you two look fairly young, and with the coming of age aspect, how much did you relate to the material, and how easy was it for you to do those 1 to 2 to 3 takes? Was it just natural, or was there a little bit of a learning curve?
Yeah, I was actually in my senior year of high school recording, like filming, and it was interesting because I just read the script, and while I was reading it, like the character of Francis, I started just kind of like getting into it, like
get into the character.
Yeah, like my voice kind of changed, and like my body movement, my body was just like, this is her. And
we called it the Fran spread.
It was the Fran spread.
Yeah. Okay.
And I sometimes in my acting I go like, oh my gosh, I really need this to turn out well. So like I'm very over analytical. Like I'm dictating every word. I'm like, what does that mean? What does this mean? And with this, Francis felt so natural that I was like, I had to turn off my brain. I had to just be like, I can trust that this character, who is so well written and so like loved, like if I just like kind of let her go, she's gonna take
carry
me.
You.
Yeah.
I like that. What about you, playing titular?
Yeah. So I was a loser in high school as well.
Really?
So yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Really? No, I'm looking at all you guys. You said you were a loser. You said you were a loser.
I'm from Miami. I was 6'1" in a sea of 5'2", so that was what my deal was.
which is again, being 6'1" in a sea of, I think that's inherently cool already. So like, I'm gonna have a talk with the people
We'll
in your high
talk
school. We'll talk later.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I thought I was tall too until I met Megan.
Okay, enough.
Well, in fact, she is very tall.
But yeah, so I related to the material, and also like I love punk music, so I think that there was kind of that similarity there. I didn't go to Catholic school or like an all girls school or anything, but I do think that there were like elements of Edie that came very naturally to me, and then the rest of it was, I guess, like my job as an actor.
Of
so
you had to act.
Yeah,
Who
you know, I had
knew?
to do my job.
And you did your job very freaking well.
Thank you so much.
So something that I love to do, we're going to get into like the movie talk portion of this because we only have 10 minutes, whatever. But one of my favorite movies ever, and I think this movie could be a wonderful double feature to this movie, is Sing Street.
Oh, I love Sing Street.
Sing Street is absolutely incredible. I don't know if you guys have watched it or had a chance to see. You haven't? Watch Sing Street.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
You're gonna absolutely love it.
You specifically are going to love it. Yeah.
Like when we're talking about like making a band, music, and the Catholic school, like these movies go hand in hand. This movie goes into the big punk rock section of it, which like gives it like that edge, especially all like the kind of graphics that you put on the movie that gives it like that extra kick. But I think watching those two movies back to back could be like very, very helpful. But in terms of like the movie portion of this conversation, I asked my guests, what's a movie that changed your brain chemistry that like basically you saw it, you were just kind of like, oh my God, this is my entire personality. Like I'm changed for the better now. And I'm gonna start with you, Manny.
Yeah, sure. So I feel like the first one that came to my mind is High School Musical, actually. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do all the
which
I can
one?
do the dance.
The first one. Well, honestly, all of them are great. Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair, I think the third one is probably the strongest film.
It's the best one.
But
It's the best one.
the first one, I think, definitely changed my brain chemistry. I was pretty young when it came out, and it was filmed in Utah, which is where I grew up. And I think it really did like solidify. Well, and like when I was a kid too, I was like, I loved to sing, and I was whatever, like a little kid, I guess. You know, more confident, less life experience. But I think that was a film that really made me want to be an actor and feel like is like a path that could be possible. It also like ruined my perception of high school, but
It ruined a lot of people's perception of high school, for sure.
But I think it did change my brain chemistry. It's like a movie musical, which I love. It was filmed in Utah. There's like a lot of different elements, and then also like I think Gabrielle is like a Latina character.
Oh,
which
she is.
It was like another thing that I really loved, and as a like Latina girl myself, but yeah, probably High School Musical.
Fun story that I won't get all the way into, but I had a Troy Bolton moment my senior year of high school where I was captain of the basketball team and I was the lead in 12 Angry Jurors.
But you can't do that.
And you can't do that.
You gotta stick to
Everyone
the
was like,
status
you gotta
quo.
choose one.
Stick to the status quo. Whoa, whoa.
I play the cello. What's that? A saw?
All right, we're doing it. Let's do it.
We're doing the whole
Crank
thing
that
now.
up.
But I had a big game the same day as opening night, and I actually chose to do the play, and
Yes.
literally
Iconic.
that put me on the path to being here in front of you today. So
Amazing.
that was a big moment. Yeah,
Correct choice.
absolutely. All right, McKenna, you're up.
This isn't a movie, but yeah, the 1993 pro shot of Cabaret with Alan Cumming.
Okay. Deep cuts.
Yeah. No, it's so good. And like, I don't know, I feel like since I was like a little infant, like there was something so attractive about acting. And then I felt like in this like past year, there's just been so many things that are very like studio and like, especially like in the musical scene where it's like, this is more to make money than to like tell a story.
Right.
And I watched Cabaret and I was just like, whoa, like this is why people do this. Like this is why art is art. And just seeing everyone's performance and how it's not focused on exactly how everyone sounds, but instead the story that they're telling, and every single step is so intentional. It's really beautiful, especially in this current climate we're living in.
Yeah.
It's a good story to ingest.
Yeah. Timmy C, take that. Anyway. Timothy Chalamet for those listening at home. All right, let's get it. I know you
Okay.
got a good one.
I knew immediately, and it's not as fancy as some of. Well, you said High School Musical, so I think we're right. It's Mel Brooks' Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay.
Yeah, I can, as like a big Mel Brooks fan, I can even recognize it's not even his best movie. It's just my favorite. His best is Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But Robin Hood Men in Tights, I don't know. I watched it when I was young, and it's just like on loop, on repeat. I could stand up and recite the whole thing from like top to bottom. And I think it just really informed sort of like my comedy sensibilities, like the joke heavy nature of it.
Yeah.
I talk about him specifically as like smart people doing dumb stuff. And that's like my favorite. I feel like our movie is kind of that too, where like the jokes are dumb, but actually you have to be smart to write them. So.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the balancing act right there.
So
And
he's a huge one for me.
Feel free to recite the whole thing. We just did a whole High School Musical bit. Too.
Okay, cool. So it opens up and the village is burning. And then a guy turns and he goes, every time they roll the credits, they burn down our village. Okay.
That is really good. Holy shit.
I know it all.
Wow. We're going to have to like sit down and like actually do this one day.
We'll do a shot-for-shot remake High School Musical, then we'll do Robin Hood Men in Tights.
We can perform it for people, like do it like a whole double feature for everybody. Just us, this quintet. of
Yes.
people. Just doing our favorite films. Okay.
Mine is Shrek.
We're a highbrow crowd over here, baby.
Yes.
But there's a specific reason, because I watched it when I was like 6 years old in theaters. And I remember I like went to the bathroom during the screening, and as I was walking back, I saw the movie poster, and I was looking. I just like stopped and stared at it for a while, and then I was like looking at his vest, Shrek's leather vest.
Yeah.
And there was like so much detail in his vest.
I was like really infatuated with that too, as
Yes.
well. There's like patches in the
Yes.
vest and everything, crevices.
Yes.
See, we're on the same
It's
shit.
so detailed and so like beautiful, and it's just like this, you know, dumb little animated movie.
Right.
But I remember looking at that and being like, wow, someone like designed all of these little details, and that was like the first time I realized people make movies. Like these things don't just appear. This like
They're
takes,
decisions.
Yes, it
Yeah.
takes so many people to make these things, and I was like, I want to be one of those people one day. And I guess here I am. I'm one of those people.
Look at it, you're one of those people now doing it. And fun fact, Shrek was my very first DVD. It was my very first DVD back when they put like the unnecessarily long boxes on it.
Yeah.
You remember that? It was so weird. They were like,
They're like,
this
you
long,
can't
you
fit
rip it
this
off,
in
it's
your
like that
pocket.
big. It was like the weirdest thing. And I didn't have a DVD player. I had a Dell computer. Like, you guys probably don't remember these commercials because remember dude, we're getting a Dell. Like those commercials.
Do you remember?
Yeah, you remember those? Okay, good. I'm not the only one. You guys remember those, right? The dude, we're getting the Dell commercials. So we got a Dell computer and I would sit at the computer and watch Shrek all day. Back where there was like a menu screen where Donkey like, hey, pick me. Like, I remember those. Also, before we end the show, this girl went really viral on TikTok talking about Shrek. And I didn't know you can watch the movie Shrek wrong. And she watched it completely wrong. Are you guys not familiar with this?
No.
She was also from New Zealand. So she was like, Shrek is not a fairy tale. It's a cautionary tale. It's about how you can't make a ogre into a man, but he can make an ogre out of you. And then she goes on this whole tirade like he was unemployed. Fiona could have had a castle and a pet dragon, and she left her entire family to get with this unemployed man in a swamp. And we were just like, what movie did you watch?
I'm also like, chill. Shrek's a homeowner. Like, that's equity.
He owns his own land.
He has land.
Literally. He was kicking people off.
He's
of
living
it.
the dream because he doesn't have to work a day job.
Legit.
And he's just like living his life making, he makes candles.
His own candles.
He makes candles.
He could have
okay.
had a very viable candle wax business,
Yeah.
like just working for him.
Etsy shop.
Etsy shop, exactly. Well, oh my God, thank you so much for coming by and talking to me, everybody. I wish I could talk to you all day about this movie, other movies and everything, but we only have a little bit of time. But thank you so much. This has been incredible.
Thank you. This has been great.
This is so fun. You're the best. This is awesome.
Try to be. And thank you for the gift too. Like the fact that I actually have a VHS.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
With a little bit of the movie on it.
I'll take it. It's fine. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
We're gonna get bread. We're gonna get bread.
Vera Meow, writer, director, and producer.
Kelly Marie Tran, human person.
Perfect.
This is Rock Springs, and we're on Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy.
Now, I love this movie. I love Rock Springs. I feel like when it comes to culture and genre, I think it's very important to introduce people into those type of things by way of like film. Obviously, we saw Ryan Coogler with like Sinners, like, but I feel like when it comes to the culture in this movie, I didn't necessarily understand the ghost in it. I always would see them and go, wow, that's really creepy. Like, I wonder what that story is. But it was cool that you used this tragedy to really like introduce people to what's the backstory behind it and how you create it. Yeah. Can you talk to me, Vera, about like the importance of like introducing people to this as well as the actual tragedy that many people may not even know about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just knew when I started thinking about what would eventually become Rock Springs, I knew I wanted to make a film about a contemporary film, right, about the kind of lived emotional experience of being someone of the diaspora. And you knew that was going to have to be a ghost story, right? Because I'm a child of immigrants myself, and to be a child of immigrants, to be part of a diasporic experience is to oftentimes feel like you're in multiple places at once, that you are maybe a little bit incomplete as a story, right? Yeah. That you're straddling a bunch of different worlds, and that maybe there's a sense of loneliness and a little bit of longing for a more like an easier sense of belonging that you don't get to have, right? So it's going to be grief. It was going to be haunting. So it had to be a ghost story. But I also knew that I didn't want to talk about, for instance, contemporary Asian American experience, right? Without bringing in some history. And I love that. And I knew I wanted to elevate sort of untold history of the early Chinese communities in America. It was just an impulse and an urge that I had. So that's actually what led me to doing some research, trying to figure out what is the piece that I'm going to interweave and intercut with the present day story. And funny enough, I have spent some time in the Mississippi Delta and had started looking there and had come across Dolly Lee's documentary that inspired Ryan Coogler for his Chinese characters in Sinners. And fascinating documentary, incredible work, really interesting history, but I didn't quite find my way in. But it led me to start asking just random questions like, were there Chinese cowboys? Right? Because really I knew that the history of the American cowboy has been erased racially. That a really large percentage are actually black cowboys, but we don't understand that in the mythology and in the kind of the ways that we retell history. So I started with were there Chinese cowboys, and in that random search and inquiry, I came across the Rock Springs Massacre and was shocked that I had no idea about it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's 3 years after the Chinese Exclusion Act. It was the height of anti-Chinese sentiment in the US. And actually the massacre itself touched off a wave of anti-Chinese violence across the West. And I never heard of it, knew nothing about it.
I've never heard of it either. It was insane, like how much I was discovering through this film, exactly how brutal it was, how heinous the act was, and how it still, like, without people knowing about it, affects all of us, right? What I liked about your movie is, one, you have this non-linear timeline where we jump to the past, but we jump to the present. But I like to prefer to call this two presents happening in this movie, because you live with those characters and you get to know them and you get to live with what exactly happened to them. And that present still lives today just through this ghost story. There's still pain there, and that pain reverberates through the diaspora living, right? And so I just loved how you kind of brought those two together. And then the ending is just heartbreaking when, you have all those people from the past, like in those places and looking at camera. And again, it didn't feel like the past. It felt like right there, right now. But Kelly, I want to bring it to you, because your present, our present that your character is in, obviously you're kind of outside of your own family with, like, the death of your husband. So there's a little bit of a relearning there and how to get along with this family. And I just need to know, like, was this like any personal experience that you had that you was able to draw from?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that what Vera was talking about before, growing up as the child of immigrants and sort of being disconnected with your history. I mean, Emily as a character, not only is she married into a Chinese family and being a Vietnamese woman, she's also adopted, raised by white parents. So there is so many barriers that exist within her existence. And I think I absolutely related to that. I think maybe I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think it's a very common experience as the child of immigrants to feel like there's something disconnected about the way that we exist in the world. Like when I go back to Vietnam, I feel very American. And when I'm in America, I feel like I'm very viewed as, you're an Asian person, you're, some sort of other. And so, I think all of those things are ingrained into my DNA and the way I exist in the world, and are absolutely also ingrained in Emily's existence.
Yeah. So now I need to bring it to the both of you, because I feel like the tag team effort that you both did in this one particular scene where you're in your bedroom and you're playing that violin and it's holding on your face, and we see like a vestige of someone in the background. You play that beautifully, and the way that the background and the foreground are like connecting with each other, I'm just like enthralled with that moment, and you hold it for so long. Can you talk to me about like the lead up to the day, seeing it on the script and like actually executing it? Because I think it's one of the more powerful and best scenes in the film.
Thank you for saying that. I would love to hear Vera's perspective of this. I will say, I guess me leading up to that moment, I was trying to practice the cello.
I mean, it's two different things, right? Like, I don't know if you like knew how to play before, but
I did not.
So it's how do you like
absolutely not.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, not only is she acting the hell out of this scene, like she's playing the cello at the same time.
When I tell
really
you,
well.
Yeah. I spent a few months like learning as much of the cello as I could, and Vera had spoken to me about the cello itself and how the shape of the cello like really emulates like the human body, and what does it feel like to be sort of wrapping your arms around this thing in the context of losing the person you loved most in your life. And then all of the feelings and the emotions that Emily was feeling in that moment, like there is the grief for her husband. There's also like feeling like a fish out of water, moving to this new place, already having felt like a fish out of water before all of those things happen. And so everything just feels, the stakes are higher and those emotions are heightened. And again, I think that Vera is such a genius and creates such an incredible environment on set, where as an actor, like I just got to be present and I just got to play and I got to live in the reality of the emotionality of this person. I am just so grateful and honored to have experienced that with you.
Yeah, that was a feat for sure.
Yeah, Kelly's performance is spectacular. And I think, so, the Emily storyline is one of someone coming apart, but trying to hide it, which makes it worse. So that really informed how we approached, visually, if this is part of your question, how we approached, me and my DP, Haejin Jun, who's a genius.
Haejin Jun.
Incredible. How we approached shooting all of the Emily storyline, right, is with that understanding that she's trying to put on a strong front, but everything is bleeding out the sides. Right. Everything's squeezing apart. And so that particular scene that you're talking about, the first time that we realized that she's being haunted by her husband, we shot specifically that scene that you're talking about as a split diopter. The split diopter, what it does is it allows the focus for there to be in focus the two halves of the frame, right, as opposed to like a foreground background. And we wanted to do that to sort of equalize Emily, Kelly's character, and the ghost that's haunting her. And it gives us this opportunity. Obviously, we're very tight on Kelly's face, so we get to read every twitch and every emotion, and she delivered, 300% on that. And to feel that even though she's so large in the frame and she's so in focus and we can read every emotion, the ghost that's haunting her is just as equal, even though we can't read him. Right. And so that's kind of in that scene that you're talking about. We also had, by the way, on the cello front, we had an incredible, like one of the top concert cellists in the entire country who's worked with Yo-Yo Ma. Her name is Karen Ozunian, and she composed the cello pieces that Emily plays in the film and also performed them for us. So we basically had a cello concert on set.
Incredible.
Yeah, and then gave Kelly advice and tips while we were shooting.
Oh, that's so incredible. Like I literally, that scene is so burned into my brain for all those things that you both just said. And thank you for like confirming in my brain what I thought I was seeing with like, holding on to the cello. Cause I didn't register that the cello is like made to look like the human body. And the way you're like clutching that cello, it's like she's holding on to something so tightly. And one could say it's like her sanity. One could say like it's the memory of her husband. And there's so much going on there. I want to talk about location, because I feel like the location is very important for a movie, and it's something that a lot of audiences don't necessarily think about. But I found this location to be at once beautiful, but also like very haunting as well. Can you talk to me about scouting that location and finding the perfect place to shoot this movie?
Yeah, so we shot in Vancouver. And British Columbia is very different than the geography of Wyoming. Yeah. And so I try to point out to folks that we never say Wyoming in the movie. Yeah. This is a Rock Springs of our imagination. But we shot in British Columbia, about an hour outside of Vancouver in more of like a rural area. We found this incredible farm with a couple hundred acres and this lodge on it that had been abandoned or emptied for many, many, many years. I think the original owners thought they were going to create kind of like a resort.
Okay.
Sort of Dirty Dancing style, like in the middle.
The
yeah.
The Catskills.
So he built this kind of lodge-like structure that we used as the house. So there was something really strange. Like in my script, I knew I needed long hallways. I knew I needed certain kinds of things. I needed ground floor so that Gracie could go out the window. So there were certain requirements that I had. I needed woods out the back. And so we were really worried about scouting. But we found this house and this property pretty early on.
Okay.
And so it had been in disrepair. It was a strangely large house because it was sort of supposed to function a little bit like the central lodge, but there were guest rooms. Yeah. So it was too large to be a house, too small to be a lodge. It was very odd. And then, obviously located on hundreds of acres that we used portions of. And then we had to stitch together the rest of like the woods and all of that stuff from different locations, again, in the larger vicinity. So, Kelly knows, like we're trekking out we're like pushing the DIT cart across muddy trails, out into woods. It was a rough shoot. It rained constantly. And we were outside at least half of the time. Right. And pushing all of our, so we did spend a lot of time. We found the house pretty early on, but finding the fields that we would build our Chinatown on, and then figuring out which woods we're going to shoot which section, that took a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love hearing about all the work that goes into it, and then the finished product. It comes out looking very seamless.
Yeah.
So
Movie magic.
Movie magic, guys. It's all fake.
Hollywood is a hoax.
It's a hoax.
I would be like, we can't use this part of it because then that's just the reverse of that, and people will know. And everyone was like, "Beer, they're not gonna know."
They're not gonna know.
It's green.
I don't know how much on TikTok that you're on, but there's that like sound that haunts my brain all the time, where it's like, they're gonna know. How would they know? They're gonna know. How would they know? That's movies all the time. It's wondering whether or not they'll notice or not, and those type of things. But that's the fun of it, and that's why I love it. Now, another reason why I love movies is because I get to ask this question. Mm-hmm. I like to ask my guests, what is a movie that changed your brain chemistry that you could recommend us right now?
Changed my brain chemistry. Akira Kurosawa's Dreams.
Okay.
I was like 14 years old. I haunted the public library as a total nerd, and I took out movies from there, and I didn't know what this movie was. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. The pictures are interesting. I'm not sure what this is. Yeah. I rented it, took it home, popped it in my VCR. This is back in the day. And it started, and it blew my mind, melted my brain. It's Akira Kurosawa's last film. It's an anthology. Martin Scorsese plays Vincent van Gogh in it.
What?
It's when Kurosawa was going blind. It is nothing like his other films. It's surrealist. It's so vividly colorful. It has images that have seared in my brain, and people should see it. But I was 14 years old, and it changed everything.
Okay, I just wrote that down, and that's gonna shock a lot of people because everyone thinks that Martin is just now starting to get into his acting bag. He's been doing this a lot, guys. Apparently.
Vincent Van Gogh with his ear cut off. That was Martin Scorsese in Kurosawa's Dreams.
We need to watch. Let's leave and watch it.
We
right
need to
now.
watch it
Yeah,
right
let's
now,
do a
right?
screening.
That
That
sounds
sounds
And there's
incredible.
like ghost soldiers. I just watch it.
Okay, bad. All right, Kelly, you got to follow that up now.
I was just gonna say the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I'm gonna stick
That's
with
not
that.
a bad pick, though.
It's so good,
It's
bro.
amazing. We were
Yeah.
just talking about that for the last couple of days.
I rewatch it every year.
Same.
Extended cut.
Yeah.
Extended
same.
cut. I
Yeah.
just introduced my 8-year-old daughter to it. Extended cut.
So good.
And she loves it. She loves it. It's great. Oh, I wish we could talk more about all of this, but thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
This
us.
is great. Seriously, it's an honor. It is an honor. And thank you for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
Hey, how you doing? My name is John Carney, and I've got a film here at the South by Southwest called Ballad.
I got to talk to you, man, because I am such a big fan of you. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you see me online because I do this a lot. I talk about Sing Street a lot.
That's so great.
A lot. It's
Thank
one of my
you.
favorite films ever. I have a 100% success rate whenever I recommend it to people.
That's great.
Everyone who's
Wow.
watched it loves it.
Thank you,
and
man.
I truly think Drive It Like You Stole It should have deserved Best Original Song.
Insane.
Not a nomination.
Didn't even get a nomination.
Didn't even get a nomination.
La La Land killed us.
Listen, I think it could have beat La La Land, to be
Huh?
honest. I think it could have beat La La Land.
Well, I mean, it would have been nice to be nominated.
Yeah,
And
it would.
That
I mean,
song is that's Gary Clark wrote that song.
Oh, Gary Clark kills it.
Amazing.
I feel that in my heart though. Like I think if it was nominated, it should have beaten any song that was in that category that year. No disrespect to those songs.
Yeah.
It's just something that I blast all the time when I'm in the
Oh,
car.
well, thank you.
It's incredible. But
That's great.
I would kick myself without even asking you, just kind of like, years after you've made that film, like, do you see people like show love for it to you? Do they ever bring that up to you? Like, how are you feeling years later?
That film, Sing Street, that you mentioned is the strangest, most kind of unplanned, like I can't imagine how small that film was. It's quite a personal story. It's a bunch of unknown actors.
Yeah.
And it's the one film that I've made out of whatever I have, 4 or 5 films, that seems to resonate with the most people.
Yeah.
And I guess it's something to do with being young and music and having all those ideas of all those different characters you might be in your life.
Yeah.
And one
100%.
by one, they become fewer and fewer and fewer until you find out who you are. I don't know. But it certainly resonated with particularly the weirdos of the world.
100%.
Which
Like,
is what we want.
I love that movie definitely explores kind of like finding yourself and not being afraid to explore who you are in that moment. Like how he changes his appearance and that fits in with his music. And like, I really resonated with that personally. And especially like the whole happy, sad look where he kind of gives like takes on like the Cure look and everything. But it's that movie to me is just something, it's one of I love coming of age films. It's my favorite genre. And like you said, every actor in it is on point. The music's on point. Jack Rayner's really great in it.
Right.
I think of him saying rock and roll is a risk.
Yes.
Like I think of that all the time. So you did your big one with that, man.
Oh,
and
great.
so I'm going
Thank
to
you very
continue
much.
to recommend that one
Appreciate
to
it.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but you have this new movie, Power
Yeah.
Ballad, which
Yeah.
also you have Jack back in this movie as well in
Yeah,
the supporting
playing a
role.
very different role.
Playing a very
Yeah.
different role, kind of an asshole of a role, if you will.
Yeah, yes.
But you have Paul Rudd and you have Nick Jonas,
Mm-hmm.
and these two, I love these characters so much. They both like play off each other very well when they're together, bonding over this
Yes.
love for music.
Yeah.
But the movie reminds me a lot of Liar Liar, but just with
Yeah.
like a big fat liar, but with just with like a lot more heart, right?
Yeah, that's a good comparison, actually.
I loved it. And
Yeah.
so as someone who's a big fan of Big Fat Liar, like I really like
Yeah.
seeing like it having like a little bit more of a sweetness to it.
Mhm.
Can you talk to me about tackling like the relationship between Paul Rudd's character and Nick Jonas and watching those two kind of like find this relationship?
Yeah, I think we decided from early on when we myself and Peter McDonald, who co-wrote the film with me and is in it, we decided let's not have a good guy bad guy thing, because it's that's fine, and a different director would do that very well. But with us, we felt we should really sympathize kind of with both these guys.
100%, yeah.
You know, and yes, one of them does the wrong thing, and we wanted to explore, you know, the why as opposed to the, you know, we wanted to understand the pressures on this kid. He's a young guy. He's this is a test. You know, he fails, but what's so great about the way Nick plays it is that you kind of understand.
You feel for it. You
feel for
100%.
him.
Yes.
And I really find the kind of black and white version of these stories where you have the evil guy and the good guy. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, I love when you start rooting for the bad guy for a second, and then you have to pull yourself back.
Right. Like, oh, he did do this bad thing that you're rooting for.
But Nick just has that in his face. There's something about him that's like, there's something very kind of like, he's not screwing the guy over.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do the right thing. And it's so tempting. And music is such an ethereal thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, you know, if you steal my stereo, you stole my stereo.
Right.
But if you steal my thoughts that I've recorded on a cassette, that's a different thing. How do I quantify that?
And then in this way, he's almost like stealing the reason for the song and co-opting it, because as you find out, I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but that song that he steals is made for a very specific reason.
That's a really good way of...
And he co-opts it into something different, right?
That's great. That's it, exactly. In the same way that when you see a song used in a commercial, it's been co-opted. But that's the sign of a good song.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so it has different permutations of it.
Yeah, it's like a good song can be like, elastic. It can mean something to you. It can mean something to you. But it can also sell a Cadillac really well.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But it's like it seems cynical, and for sure you didn't write it for that reason. But you're right. A song is I listen to all these songs from the 20s and 30s. And, you know, you go back to from like the Frank Sinatra version, you go back decade by decade until you get to the really stripped down early recording where it's just melody and like a little guitar in the background.
You feel the pureness of it at that moment.
The song is there, but like I wouldn't have known that it was a hit, or in Frank Sinatra's hands or a certain arranger's, that's going to be a big 50s hit, or it's going to be sampled, or it's going to be, you know.
Yeah.
Same way with like Stevie Wonder records, you're listening to those records going like, did he know when he was putting down Superstition with that drum track that would be like
the one?
But it's like it's free in a way, even though technically you have to buy that album. There's something like that song is just there. It's like bird song.
Yeah,
it's out there.
It's like when you listen to, and I just found this out, and I guess this speaks to the point that we're both trying to make, is like Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You." I just found out that wasn't originally her song. Am I right on that one? That was was it Dolly Parton? That was a Dolly Parton song.
There you go.
I did not know that.
She just made it her own.
And like I think of that, and I think it's Whitney Houston, and it means, like, to me, like, you know, obviously it's like a story of love and like, you know, this like lost love and letting go of someone that you love. But then, like, I don't know what Dolly Parton originally meant for that. Like, it's Whitney Houston's song to me, right?
Also, could you pick two more opposite people?
Two more iconic opposite people.
I know,
who could both take something and make it incredible. But something that I really like, and I love finding the relationship between two different movies, whether it's the same filmmaker or different filmmakers, is that there's a conversation between Sing Street and this movie where Sing Street ends with this character going off to make his name in the music industry, and he has this idealized version of where this is going to go. Then you have Power Ballad, where you have two characters, one young and one older, getting fucked over by the music industry on both sides, right? You have someone who tried it, got chewed up and spit out in it, and then you got someone who's in the process of getting chewed up at the same time.
That's a great way of looking at it. Yeah,
you know, so
you can't take the two. That's a good point, and I think that the creation of music over here and that weird unresolved tension between music and the commercial aspect of music. It's such an uncomfortable relationship, but it's necessary. But it's very weird. And you get it with film as well. I think film and music are the two most uncomfortable. Like, I think if you write a book, in the literary world, your relationship with your editor and your publisher is pretty. It's nobody's trying to take anyone. Right. There's not that much money to be made. I mean,
it comes from how many books are sold and everything. So it's like they give you the money to make the book.
Like, exactly. Like you couldn't take Power Ballad and put it into the poetry world. Because it's like because it's the commercial credit and the cynicism of and the amount of people that these guys have making decisions and helping make their decisions and pushing. Quiz Show was a film we used as a comparison in a way, in that the Ralph Fiennes character in that movie does the wrong thing, but because Robert Redford chose Ralph Fiennes for that role and had researched the role, he was like, I don't want to make this guy bad.
Yeah.
I want to make him a bit spineless. And we use that as a kind of an example of a film that, you know, you get when that guy is pressure, he's on a quiz show and this lie, he's asked to lie or not, but it's in front of, you know, 50 million people on television or something. It's like, there's one thing lying to yourself, there's one thing when there's an audience, it's all those,
when it's an audience,
you know,
a lot of people could take that and, like, you know, obviously, you know, with social media, you could tell the truth and people could take that and turn it into something. Imagine telling a lie and then it exacerbates and people start lying on the lie, right? Which is like a scary thing.
And nowadays, more than ever, it's like, there was a good piece in the New York Times today about that, about whether film people like movie stars should speak at the Oscars tonight. Should people get political? Should they not?
Right.
You know, Ricky Gervais says don't.
Yeah.
This journalist is saying no, you should, and I'm on the. I don't know whether you should or whether you shouldn't. But in terms of truth, if you know, truth is so commodified now, and in our film, you do get to the truth at the end.
Yes.
But he doesn't get. You know, it's an interesting one. It might resonate with people this year, and maybe particularly Americans who are being lied to so much.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Maybe this is a kind of a film that people can, I don't know. I mean, just that will speak to people because I
get that.
You have to find out the truth.
Yeah.
Because there is a truth. There is actually a reality.
Yeah, there's a helpless feeling in this movie where, like, you know, you're being gaslit quite a bit. Like, you know what the truth is, but then there's also this giant entity telling you that you're wrong. And not only are you wrong, we're going to silence you and punish you if you try to pursue the truth.
Exactly.
Right? So when you talk about that resonance here and, like, where we're living in, I think it's something that is and should be resonated with, right? And, like, I resonated with it while I was watching it as well.
It seems like a pretty important, and I think a lot of films will, and a lot of that the idea that truth is becoming something that can be you can be
up to interpretation.
Oh my God, we're screwed. I mean, once that was the one thing we had, and even in all of the like Nixon stuff in the past in American politics, you could always rely at the end of the day, if you're bullshitting me, and I can figure it out, you're done. But now that's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you're bullshitting me, but here's why you bullshitted me. That is so vague. It's so dangerous.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with something right now. I'm a big nerd, as you can already tell, and I'm a big fan of the story of One Piece. I got tats all over my body. There's this, when we talk about like history, and we talk about like the story of history belongs to the victors, and they get to tell that story, right? Now with social media, I feel like history is accelerated because with short attention spans, a week ago feels like forever ago. And so going back to the story of One Piece, there's the pirates and there's the Marines, good and bad on both sides, right? And so there's this character who's kind of in the middle. He's relishing in the chaos and he's wondering like, who's going to win? Is it going to be the pirates who like exemplify freedom and all these things? Or is it going to be the Marines who want to uphold justice? What is justice at the end of the day? It depends on the winner. The winners get to make what justice is. Right. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Is like in this movie, there is a moment where it's like, who are you going to believe? It's the people in power that normally gets to tell the story at the end of the day, whether it's a song or whether it's laws and how history is told. So I think like we could have like a small and big conversation about all these things that are happening in this movie.
That's truth. You know, the truth of what happened is something that in the entertainment business was always a little bit, because here's what I think is going on. When I first came out to Hollywood with a movie years ago, I realized there was something very strange happening, but it was only in the movie industry, which was don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yes, I've heard this.
There was a shared kind of thing of like, well, that's not how it happened, and somebody says, can we have our story?
Let's make it entertaining.
But it was confined to Hollywood, and the rest of America seemed like they knew we're allowing that one area in California to do its bullshit because it's kind of fun and it's entertaining.
Right.
But that spread, and I think reality TV is a really big culprit. And I think that idea that let us just have our story. It's so much more fun than the truth. It's so much that has to be contained, and it's got out. and it's spreading. It's spreading to each
like
car, each different taxi you're in. There's some guy driving the thing screaming about somebody he hates.
Yeah.
And why it's wrong. And then you're like showing facts. And they're like, they're your facts.
Yeah,
those
those are your facts. That's not my truth, though.
I mean,
it doesn't apply to me.
We have, as creative people, and anyway, the bottom line of this New York Times piece was like, no, you should speak. You have to speak up.
Yeah.
And even though I don't like it when Hollywood movie stars say, you know, read the papers and and don't just get off and accept their award, I personally don't like it, but I actually now am beginning to think everybody, from you as well, you know, and all of us need to be, I mean, I hate this expression, on the right side of history.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a moment happening now where it's like you keep your head down and hope for the best, or you put your head up and you show people we're listening.
We're all in this moment, and like people are gonna look back at like this moment in time, and they're gonna wonder, where were you? Right?
I know.
Was it
because
down
all the way
up?
through the 90s? I mean, you know, you're a lot younger than me. There was a
I was born in the 90s.
There was a sanity in still left over from like the post 2 world wars. There was a kind of a reasonable sanity.
Yeah.
That because, you know, there had been 2 massive wars. People were tired of fighting. I mean, there were lots of conflict and mini wars and all of that. That's just gone now. And that idea of knowing which side is up and what's going on is just like, it seems like in danger at the moment. We've got to contain it.
Yeah, I could talk to you about all of these type of things all day, man. But we only have so little time, and I believe
I'm
that's
sorry
the end
we
of our
don't have
time,
more
man.
time. I'm sure you guys are on a...
Oh, we are on 13 interviews today, and I believe you're the 6th, 7th? I said 6, 7. Oh, I saw this. You did the thing. 6, 7. But yeah, we've been going all day. We're gonna keep going. So, but thank you so much for coming by, man.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm happy with the film. I thought it was amazing.
Oh,
and
great.
Keep doing your big one, man.
All right. See you at the next one.
All right. And thank you so much for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
You're watching Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. I'm Yorma Taccone, and I made a film called Over Your Dead Body. I hope you go see it April 24th. Bing bang! Fuck your life.
Fuck your life. You see these dogs in your front yard? Oh, I'm so happy me and you have the same vocal style.
Oh my
bro.
God, I love it. I love it.
But bro,
I also like Spider Cuz a lot.
What's what?
Spider Cuz.
I didn't see Spider Cuz.
Oh my God, it's like a dude who's like crypt up, but he's like dressed as Spider-Man, and he keeps talking about spider mommies.
What?
And he goes like Comic-Con, but he's like super New York.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Listen, I grew up in Compton. I grew up in a Crip neighborhood.
Yeah.
So Spider and Cuz.
Spider
Just I've never thought I'd hear those two things.
It's the dumbest shit ever.
Spider Cuz.
Yeah. Oh no. He's so. Anyway.
But bro,
right,
I've told you this already. It's a great fucking movie. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of South by, 100%. And we were joking about this just a second ago. I like to call Jason Segel the Kevin Durant of actors.
We weren't joking about that. That's a thing that I was saying. We all said.
You were actually saying that.
I said Kevin Durant, out of all the, because he's consistent. He's like, yeah.
You could plug him into anything.
I'm kidding. I did not call Jason Segel the Kevin Durant of actors.
I really thought we were gonna have a thing like you too.
Whoa, that's crazy, bro.
Look at that.
Yes.
Maybe I could direct him. No, I'm not
but I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
He's the perfect person for this role.
Literally.
And we were saying one of the big things, like when making a remake, it's so difficult for me to even like want to put my hat in the ring on something that I like. I love the original, but I read the script that Nick and Brian wrote. I was like, I have to make this. Every time I thought about not doing it, I was like, I have to. I just wanted to see, like, be able to put my stamp on this, but also like I intrinsically. There's a huge difference with different actors playing these parts, and the original with Axel and Numi, like they're incredible actors.
Yeah.
But Jason and Samara bring this, like, it's just a different tone, and it's very much my tone. I think we push the comedy into, like, I'm always like bend it to break it sort of thing, like where it's like I never want to like ruin the actual situation because the comedy's coming out of like the realness of the situation. As crazy again, it gets wild.
It like increasingly, like, I like how you did like a structure where you're following these people over here, and you're following their story. Oh, who are these people over here? Let's see what they've been up to.
It's very much the original structure, but it just gramps so hard to the end.
It gets insane.
I've been saying it's kind of like 3 movies in one. Like it like sort of starts this like suspense thriller kind of thing, and then it becomes like home invasion-ish, and then it's like an action movie at the end. So it was like just very fun for me to be able to like I think people obviously very know me from doing comedy stuff and like very comedy forward stuff with MacGruber and even Popstar and that. But I just felt like it was. It just allowed me to like do so many different hats. Like there's real drama in this. There's obviously excessive violence, excessive, very real, very dark.
I think the excessive violence helps everything, because the way I saw this movie was you get the premise of this couple is trying to plan each other's murder, and just like for them, it's in concept, right? Like they don't know what they're gonna do once they get there. It's an in concept thing. Yeah. And then they get violently reminded that murder is awful. Yeah. It's bad. It's brutal. It's a grueling
I'm so
process.
glad you like because I was like obsessed growing up. A lot of people are gonna relate to this, but like I listened to a lot of radio dramas growing up because my parents didn't allow me to have a TV. We literally like found a black and white TV, and I would like sneak and watch Sesame Street. But I would listen to like for real. This is not like,
you snuck and watched.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my god, yeah, big word. And so, but I always loved these radio dramas where it would always be like a sort of morality tale. A Simple Plan is an amazing movie that where it's like you have an original sin. He's gonna murder his wife, and then you have to suffer the consequences of what comes from that fucking hubris or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Both of them go through this like batshit amount of like fucked up brutal shit in this movie to get to the point at the end, which I think is very cathartic.
Right. I mean, it's the best way to test your marriage. I'll say that.
Yeah. I keep saying that it's actually weirdly like a good date movie. Like I've always encouraged my friends who like see it, I'm like, watch it together.
Watch it together.
Because there's scenes in there that I like. Nick and Brian were very generous with the script. Yeah. It's like so there's stuff that I wrote in there that like is like the podcast scene, which you'll see if you see it. Right. Is like that's my relationship.
No, 100%. I mean, I've been in relationships that have unfortunately fizzled out, in relationships that have just been like, just very tough in the moment. Yeah. And I like how you balance like the comedy and the action and the gruesomeness to take these slow moments to have these characters kind of like reevaluate what exactly happened in this relationship. How do you even get to the point of wanting to do that?
Very funny. We did one test reunion because it was a very low budget movie. So actually, I think we made it look fucking amazing.
I think it looks great.
What we had. Yeah. But we had one test where like, everybody loved it. Tested super well. It was great. But people under 30 were like, how did they get to this place? And then anyone over 30 was like, oh, I know how they got here. Like,
I'm thinking that right now. You don't get it. Yeah. It's like the newbies versus like the experienced like people, right?
No, but it's like it's a pretty joyful like rekindling of the this relationship at the end.
It's a very nice thing. And then also like I don't want to spoil it. I was actually about to spoil the movie.
Go
watch the movie, guys. This is honestly it shot up to my most anticipated movies list. And having watched it, I'm like it's one of my favorite movies of 2026 so far.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Big reason is because of those performances and how wacky it gets. I gotta know like what was either the most difficult or even just like your favorite moment to film, because there's a lot of elaborate like fights and moments.
There's shit that Jason does in this movie that I was shocked that he was willing to do.
I've
like
never
he really
seen him do
went
anything
for
like
it.
that.
Which is great. Like I always like when you're like you think of a person in a certain type of way, and this was always the joy of SNL, like working on SNL and then being able to like you working with like massively famous people and then having to say the most ridiculous shit. And like, it's always nice to like just have the turn of like seeing a person in a different light. Paul Guilfoyle's like that in this, like who's been in a million fucking movies. But Jason, like he did a lot of fight choreography for this, and really like it's all him.
He went for it, yeah.
And then there's he's in the water, like I mean he's beat shit, but he's in freezing.
That
water.
moment right there, bro. Like I was like, that looks.
It was dangerous. We also have like a ship that almost hit him. We got like a crane coming off. My gosh. The crane almost hit him and then he was like, "Let's go again." And I was like, "No, we got it. Like we're good."
He's trying to start his action star career.
There was that thing that happened on because there's a lot of stunt stuff in the movie, and we were trying to be respectful of designing things and storyboarding in a way that was going to be the most safe. And there was a moment where like we had it was like a 360 skid that was going to happen and it was going to hit a guy, and we were going to comp it, so like it was gonna be like 3 different shots put together, and then the guy was gonna be pulled, and then whatever, we're gonna comp it all together. And then the car because we had the guy go cheap, the car that we got, the fender was coming off when we were skidding around the thing. So like, because it was so lower.
Yeah.
And it was like, so as we're doing the skid, they were like, we can't do this skid. We had this crazy rally driver, like rally car driver, like from Finland. He was like super dope. But like, he couldn't, like, he was just like, he's in mud, like skidding around. Yeah. So we had to go to our stunt guy and be like, hey, can you just get hit by this car? And he was like when you're not prepared for that. And he got hit, I think 7 times to get that. And you're like, so like shit like that.
How fast was this car going?
You know, probably 30. Like, I mean, he was a champ. But I was like, but shit like that, you're like, movie making.
That's
you
movie
just
making.
You gotta do it.
You ever watch the movie Fall Guy?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's 87 North.
87 exactly.
Yeah.
And I love those guys at 87 North. And I think you I'm trying to remember if he was in this. I've watched so many movies at South by Southwest that they all went to. I watched 2 Samara movies already, like Ready or Not to in this one. So I'm like, which one is this one?
Well, I mean, my buddy Matt Benelli, who I don't know if you talked to, but
Radio Science.
Matt, so Matt used to be in Lonely Island. So like we all lived together. Like all of our early stuff that we made was on his like digital 8-track.
Bro, I could talk to you forever about like movies and stuff.
I mean, dude, I really appreciate you seeing the movie and liking it.
Bro, I loved it. It's not liking it. Like, let's keep it real. Like, it's fucking great, dude. Seriously.
Go see it.
Go see the movie.
Over your dead body. April 24th.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Fuck your life.
And thank you so much for listening and watching. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
Hi, my name is Alexandra Shipp.
I'm Victoria Pedretti.
I'm Lili Reinhart.
I'm Meredith Alloway.
I'm Lola Tung.
We're Forbidden Fruits, and you're on Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy.
All right, so welcome to Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. It's so lovely talking to y'all today. Watched your movie alone by myself, was terrified, scared, I gasped, I shocked, I screamed. It was a whole experience by myself. But did you premiere your movie yet at South by? Did you get a chance to watch it with everyone? Tomorrow, how are we feeling?
Excited. I'm excited. I want to see it in a theater and hear people's reactions to it. That's the best part.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Okay. I always keep saying that the best type of movie is the movie that you make black people talk to. I talk to this movie a lot. You know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah. I talk to this movie so much. Like, what are you doing, girl? What's happening? What's going on? It's so much interaction. So I'm really excited to see you guys get that interaction from the crowd. But the big vibes that I was picking up from this movie, and I'm sure you guys know this, is it gave me like a big Heathers type of vibe, right? Was this like a conscious effort going into it? And like, how did you separate yourself from the Heathers thing that everybody knows? We'll start with Meredith here.
Sure. I mean, everything you're saying is such a compliment. Also, just like talking to the movie, I'm like, the whole point of making a movie is so that people watch it and they feel included in the world. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, Heathers, I mean, again, I love that movie. I think that the dynamics between the women are so interesting. I love the visuals of it. And then I didn't watch it in the process of making this because I was like, you know, I think that movie, growing up watching it, it's kind of in my bones, and I feel like I kind of like the best movies like The Craft and Jennifer's Body. I sort of absorbed through osmosis, and then I was like, I don't want to try to live up to that.
Right, of course.
So I purposefully was like, my co-writer Lily Houghton and we purposely did not watch that. Mm-hmm. I think maybe I was like, oh, you guys can check these out if you want, but it's hard because you don't want to try to emulate something. Emulate. Sorry, it's been a long day. Emulate iconic movies like Heathers, but yeah.
You know, the beautiful thing about movies, and we talked about this like with Ryan Coogler and Sinners.
Ryan Coogler is my hero.
Listen, he's a big friend of ours, been on the show a couple times, and it was really like a pleasure to get to talk to him just about film, Sinners, how that was made. But something that we really love talking about is when it comes to creating something that's influenced by something else. Obviously, you could say something like Sinners is heavily inspired by From Dusk Till Dawn, but he adds that bit of culture, he adds his own sensibilities to it, and I feel like you've accomplished that with Forbidden Fruits, right? So let's get into kind of like something that, let's clap. I'm going to clap for that one.
Also, just like in the same breath where you're talking about Ryan Coogler, I'm like, I'm going to pass away. Pass away.
Fun fact, that logo that you're seeing on the microphone was for our Center series that we did. So you're holding a little bit of...
Ryan, if you're listening, I want you to mentor me.
But I want to talk about kind of like the idea of Eden in this movie. It's a very biblical type of tale, and I really dug that. And I had to look up Eden and know like exactly what I was getting into. And it's depicted as like an idealized paradise of a world, right? So as the actresses here, like, how did you take your individual characters and try to exemplify like these different, I guess, pillars of this idealized world? Because you're so different and you all revolve around each other, and it's so incestuous, I want to say. Explain coming into that and creating the world of your incestuous. There it is. Explain creating the world of Eden.
I mean, I think the best part about Eden is that without light there can't be dark, and vice versa. And I think that we all kind of encompass that duality within ourselves, whether that's aesthetically just always being clad in leather, which is like a vibe and I love it, but also emotionally when we're dealing with all of these hard topics and trying to like come out of it in a light and bright way. It's like the way that we do our confessionals is so dark and yet so enlightening and so uplifting. And I think that we kind of straddle that line very beautifully with Meredith's direction of just being like, the idea of free Eden is that we have both of those sides to ourselves, and we kind of rip that open for the audience.
I like that you described it as both of the sides to yourselves, because it makes a lot of the horror that ends up in this movie happening more horrifying, right? Like you have these like bright colors, and you have these. I never want to hear anyone say "babe" to me ever again. I just want to say I never. Come on, babe. Come on, babe. I was like, oh. Coffee makes me vom. Like there's so many lines that we could get into later, but again, watching these things that start off so soft and so sweet, and then when someone gets a cleaver to the face, it's like, oh my god, like this isn't Eden, this is hell. It's a whole different it's a whole different thing. But Lili, I want to bring this over to you, because you have something that's just so hard to do, which is like your presence is a lot of your character. Like everyone reacts whenever you walk into frame, and it's your steely-eyed look, it's the way you say babe. I want to know how much of that was on the page and how much of that was like for play.
I mean, the characters were so specific on the page. It's hard for me to be like, that was all me, because it was not at all. I just really knew that I did not want to play the very stereotypical, she wasn't written that way, but I didn't just want to be like, oh, she's just the mean girl in the movie. I wanted her to be someone that you could weirdly sympathize with, or at the end of the movie understand better. I wanted you to want to be bullied by her for whatever reason. Cult leaders are cult leaders for a reason. They have followers because for some reason they're magnetic to people. And I think with Apple's physicality, that was a huge thing for me. I worked with a movement coach. I wanted her to be extremely specific in how she moved. It was a lot of something unlocked for me with my movement coach when we figured out how Apple turns her head.
Yes, it was very snake-like.
It's just it's very intentional, like she doesn't, like me, use her hands a lot or kind of wander, look around. It's always very locked in, and her eyes are very direct. And so even I do this, and I just realized I do this in the movie. I'm like,
trying to shake it.
She's just very precise, and I think that's what helps her be quite commanding when she's. I wanted it to be almost like she's like floating and gliding a little bit. However, I don't know. And then I guess, I credit that to the help I got from my movement coach, just making her as specific as possible, wearing very high heels, which help, they help with your posture. I made sure before we rolled, I was like, lock into your physicality that you've practiced and don't slouch. She's perfect posture kind of all the time, and I was reminding myself of that constantly before we went.
See, you're making me want some high heels because my posture is fucked. It's awful. It's terrible.
Heels help.
Heels help. I got you. Let's make some. We gotta.
And
get
they
some.
make that booty go.
Make that booty go back? Okay. I think my booty's kind of all right. All right. Anyway, what I love that we're talking about how you described her as like the cult leader, because there's a charisma there, and I feel like that's like a big trend in South by Southwest right now.
Cult leaders?
The cult leaders, 100%. I've watched 22 movies here already. Like I'm in it deep. It's been a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And two of them I saw, again, very cult centric, is the Seekers of Infinite Love. very cult-centric in that one. And then there's a doc about Phoenix Jones, who was a real-life superhero who brought other people in to be superheroes on the street. And so seeing those and then seeing this movie, I see all those similarities that you captured, especially when we talk about Phoenix Jones, who was a real cult leader, and then you kind of captured that same charisma, and why would someone follow her? You are the reason for that. Now, you're very welcome. Yeah. You're very welcome. Now, I want to bring up to the person that I think you tortured the most in this movie. And you torture a lot of people in this movie. Yeah, Victoria. I felt so bad for you watching this movie, and you do such a great job of just portraying pain, like just this inner pain that's just, you just want to live your life the way you want to live it, but there's this constant voice, Apple's voice in your head telling you not to do it. Was there any inner work? You were a sweet baby, and she was corrupted. She was so corrupted. Can you talk to me about the inner work that you did of like getting in the mindset of like this constant like nagging in your voice to be a certain way? Because it felt very natural for you.
I never personally struggle with anything. Yeah. I think that I think that there's a lot of like obviously it comes from me, so it comes from what I've seen and what I know and my perspective of these things. But I do think a huge difference between how I would simplify myself compared to Cherry is that I'm not really like it's so weird to talk about yourself, but I don't think of myself really as like a follower.
Yes.
And Cherry really is, you know, she's looking to Apple at every moment for approval. Yet the thing about Cherry, which I do deeply relate to, is that she kind of can't help but be herself.
Right.
She kind of in that Apple is very like everything is so precise. Cherry's kind of fumbling and falling over herself all the time. The words are coming out of her mouth. The choices are just kind of happening. She is just moving around very out of instinct. And yeah, it was. Did I answer the question?
No, I believe you answered the question. Yeah. No,
okay. She does carry a lot of pain, and I think that there's a lot of pain from the grief that she holds. I mean, who doesn't have experience with grief? Trying to imagine what she's been through, as well as this just like in her mind, anything that comes between her relationship with Apple, or actually mostly Apple, is her fault. And she has to do something to change. So she's just failing over and over and over again. And I don't know if I would. Yeah, it's hard. It's fun. It's imaginative. We're playing pretend at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're one of my favorite characters in the movie because I feel like your choices that your character makes, it affects the plot so much and in very, very big ways, right? It's almost like very nerdy thing. It's like watching Anakin Skywalker choose the dark side and then jump over to the light. You're like, oh, what is she gonna do this time? And it creates an unpredictability that has now made me stay away from escalators. So congratulations to that.
I also wanted to just say really quickly that in the writing, it was important to us that every single fruit does stand up to Apple, you know, and doing that doesn't necessarily turn out well, but what is well? I don't know. Like I just life. We're talking about Apple torturing Cherry and this and that, you know, and pain, but like there's scenes between you and the girls and you and the girls and Pumpkin that everyone's like, what? You know, and kind of it's like the beginning of maybe what Apple really needs was just like the truth from her female friends that were like, let us help you.
Yeah, I want to love her, but and that's also the huge pain. It's like I certainly know that, you know, relationships in which you want to show somebody love, but they just don't know how to accept it. They don't know how to trust it. She doesn't trust anyone.
And that's what I felt a lot from Apple is like there was like a backstory that we're not privy to until later in the film that you're holding on to. And everyone here is trying to give you some form of love and communication, but you're just shutting it off at every single turn, right? And so I just found the dynamic between all of you so great. So, but Lola, I want to bring this to you now, because you seem like a character who comes in, you're very confident, it feels like you're holding a secret, and you're able to move seamlessly throughout all of the fruits here. And you're like not judging, but you're observing and you're asking questions, and you have a very unique dynamic to everyone, being someone who's new. Can you talk to me about kind of like coming in and like having that unique perspective with everyone else?
Yeah, I feel like Pumpkin's kind of a little chameleon sometimes. It tells you so much about her, where like she's friends with everyone but kind of no one at the same time, where like everyone's like, oh my god, yeah, Pumpkin, but it's like, who are your people?
Where your
She
allegiances
doesn't really
at,
have so I think it's kind of easy for her to come in and be like, oh, I can get close to each of these girls, but then there is that part of her that's like, oh, this feels different, and I like this sense of community a little bit, and I have never experienced this kind of belonging, I guess, even though it's a little twisted and they all kind of are stabbing each other in the back. It's still unlike anything she's ever experienced before, I think. So yeah,
I find her to be like she's the proxy for the audience, right? Like we're being introduced to this whole thing, and it is intoxicating, right? Like this life in this mall does seem a little idyllic. That's the right word, right? I like the first way better. It sounds nice. But like it does seem like a very nice, pristine like group to be a part of. There does seem to be some love there, but as you start to unearth everything, it's like, do I really want this? And I feel like you played that really well until everything like explodes, like in that what's it called? The fountain, and the mall fountain, right? Okay, so listen, I could talk about this movie all day, and I know we only have like a little bit of time left, but what I like to do, and the reason why the show is called Get Wrecked, is that I like to get to know my guests by asking them what's a movie that changed your brain chemistry and created the building blocks to who you are. So I don't know if you've had time to think about it. I don't know if they briefed you. This is why I like to ask the question. Do some rapid fire so you can think about it, and then
I have mine.
Oh, but you looked confident when I asked you too. You were just
because
like, oh, okay.
I'm a filmmaker. Like I have to have Bibles. I have to have my Bible.
Well, you want to know something? Ryan Coogler struggled with this.
He struggled.
He struggled.
Well,
so.
Let's have a chat. My Own Private Idaho, Gus Van Sant, River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves. I saw that when I was in high school, and that movie is so imperfect, and the performances are amazing. And there's a scene with River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves around a campfire. And River, the lore is that he was like, I'm pretty sure this character is queer and in love with Keanu Reeves. And Gus Van Sant was like, that actually makes it all click. And they like improvised the scene where he's basically saying, I love you. And it is the most raw, beautiful, vulnerable performance I've ever seen. And that changed my brain chemistry. And I felt very seen in that movie.
I can tell that sticks with you because it came like that for you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some guiding lights, you know?
I love that. Anybody else thought of theirs?
There's this moment, I've already mentioned this in an interview on this thing, but just like what made me want to even be an actor is Marion Cotillard in La Vie en Rose. And it's been a really long time since I watched this film, but I just remember being wrecked by that film.
Did you get wrecked?
I got wrecked.
Got wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. It was a good one.
Mine is Chasing Amy. There is something about that final monologue where she's talking about these men and their use of her and their perspective of her and their expectations of her and the way in which they want to use her, and she just took her power back in a way that I had never seen before, in a way that was like, and this is why I don't deal with men, and it just clicked for me so much. And it's just an incredible monologue, and it's an incredible film, and it's just one of those movies that makes you go, oh, that's so human.
There's a lot of fans of that movie, but I feel like you just turned on a bunch more, like just with that. Like
incredible. I don't watch it. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I'll say it because I watched it when I was far too young to have watched Moulin Rouge. I was maybe like 8 when I saw Moulin Rouge. And so that's why you talk about something that just like clicks something in your brain. I didn't know a movie could be like that.
Right.
It's just really is like, you watch that movie even today and you're like, holy shit. Like this movie was just doing things that other movies were not doing. And I think it really just unlocked, probably also because it's about theater. And then I was a theater kid growing up. I think it really just was like, wow, you have permission to do that in film. And it just really, and also the glitz and the glamour and the beauty and Nicole Kidman's face being like, oh my God, I'm attracted to women. Like this whole very formative thing for me as a small child. So that.
Those eyes that we talked about with you playing Apple, they lit up just now.
They just lit up.
They just lit up.
Oh no. I was a big theater kid too, so I feel like so many of my like formative experiences were with like musicals and stuff. But also, I'm like Despicable Me. I don't know. Also,
no, honestly,
great movie,
somebody said Shrek
great
earlier.
Film. Oh,
somebody
come
said
on!
Shrek earlier,
But
so.
if I'll say a different one also. In my French class in high school, we watched Amelie, and I remember that being like a really big moment where I was like, she's weird and cool, and I love the colors, and I love the music, and I like that it is kind of theatrical and so different than anything I've ever seen, and it just like every time I think about it, it makes my brain happy. So yeah,
I like that. Last thing I'm gonna say to that is that we had Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick and their kids in here yesterday, and they were giving their movies, and I remember their son Travis said, I can't remember which movie it was because all blending it. He said, this movie made me realize that I'm a freak and I love it. Right?
Great.
And so the weirdness definitely resonates here.
It's like her little expression.
But thank you so much for talking to me about your movies, our favorite movies. This has been a major pleasure.
What fruit are you if you were a fruit?
What fruit am I if I was a fruit? I want to say pumpkin because I didn't know it was a fruit.
Hey!
Not gonna lie. I feel like I'm a pumpkin.
You can be a pumpkin.
Oh yeah,
If I was a fruit?
Yeah, any fruit.
I feel like I'm a pineapple because I go with everything.
Let's go.
I go with everything.
We haven't gotten.
I would say like pineapple. You could put it on anything. It fits with every flavor. Like it's nice.
You like pineapple on pizza?
I do. Okay. Yeah, and like, am I sweet? Do I seem like a sweet guy? Like
you're being judged, by the way.
Loved by everyone. I don't know someone who doesn't love a pineapple.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for everyone watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
I'm Kit Steincounter. I directed Are We Still Married? And you are on Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. Woo woo!
Now let's start.
Let's start.
Because we're best friends now. I hope you know that. Like you and I.
Look,
we're best friends now.
But you're also best friends with like Leo DiCaprio. You're best friends with like Kugler. Like you got a lot of best friends. But you know what? It's not a person. It's a tier, and I'm happy to be on the shelf with all your best friends.
Listen, you're on the shelf. Especially, I think I'm not even gonna lie. Sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan. You brought up the Goofy movie earlier, and literally, I had to like contain myself. I ran this way. I did what black people do when they hear something amazing, right? I usually ask people what's a movie that changed your brain chemistry, and you said that Goofy movie was a perfect movie. Quickly elaborate, because we only got 10 minutes. But you called it the what?
I called it the greatest father-son story of all time. Fight me, Field of Dreams. Fight me.
She throwing shots at everything.
I'm happy to.
I love it. I love this.
Look, it's just, is it like 76 minutes? It's
tight. A nice, tight movie.
Yeah,
it's ahead of its time. No Disney movie was being made like that.
No.
Yeah.
It's everything. It is a deeply moving father-son story. It's a deeply moving coming of age. It's a road trip movie.
It's a road trip movie.
It's a musical.
Mm-hmm. Tevin Campbell.
Yeah.
Tevin Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this.
I put him on the same shelf as Michael Jackson. I truly.
And Powerline is like Michael Jackson and Prince put together.
He's
I know the dance too. I know the perfect cast. I can do it.
I don't, and maybe we have to.
It's
be
okay.
Friends in real life.
One of these parties, like I'll show you the mechanics.
Please do.
I'll show you the
Please
mechanics.
do.
All right, I'm gonna give you one fun fact, and then we can get into your movie.
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because remember the on the open road scene.
Yes.
Of course, right?
Yes.
Remember the part where the guy's driving his wife in the car and he's on the way to rest and relaxation?
Yeah.
Did you know that is the very woman who sings the big note in the Eye to Eye sequence? That's her. He drove her to the concert.
So obviously, Goofy doesn't know he's on his way to the concert. Max does. But oh my. Wow. Talk about changing your brain chemistry. Thank you.
When you look at the scene when Goofy walks in on her as she's changing, his picture is on her thing.
But now we need like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern about the two of them. We need the sequel where you just like, or just short, like a 12-minute, just like their road trip.
I need this. Okay,
I would like it.
We could talk about this for a full
No,
hour.
of course.
But let's talk about your movie. Are we still married?
Let's do it.
This was one of the biggest surprises that I watched, because I've watched 22 movies here already at South by Southwest. I watched your movie, and like it's like popcorn, right? I'm like, okay, am I gonna get a drama? Am I gonna get a this? You were the only short that I got. And it was so intriguing, and I was kind of upset that it ended so quickly, but also like this was such a perfectly paced story because it's a different way to explore relationship dynamics by way of a vampire story. Yeah. So can you tell me like the inspiration behind it? Because I've never seen nothing quite like this before. It's a slice of life, but with vampires.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I think it feels so weird because I backed into it in a weird way.
Okay.
About 10 years ago, my husband gets bit by a bat, which doesn't happen to people. You don't hear about
who gets bit by bats.
You hear about people getting bit by a tick, by a dog, not a bat, but it was just like the perfect storm of like an ADU with high rafters. Someone left the door open the night before.
Yeah.
My husband didn't know. He fell asleep on the couch. Anyway, I got a rabies shot. Thank you, modern medicine.
Right.
He was okay. But I don't know how you process trauma in your relationships. Comedic bits is how we process ours.
Right.
So we just start cracking vampire jokes, and at a certain point, he like very lightly asks me like, "But if I did become a vampire, you would let me back in the house?" And I think I paused too long. It was and it was a conversation.
Honestly, that's a good conversation.
It's a great conversation. It was healthy, adult, like character defining, but it was. Well, this was 10 years ago, and it was just like a memory, like a funny, strange, like unsettling memory. But then I wanted to make something independently. I knew I was going to be making it for a price, and because of that, I knew we'd be limited to a location. And so in thinking about like, okay, if I was going to make something in a house, like let's say, how can a house feel as cinematic as possible? How can it have how can it have the stakes and the scopes? I want something. How can it feel huge in a small space? And this thing that had been in the back of my brain for 10 years fell to the front of my brain. And the more I started thinking about, the more exciting it felt to try to tackle this kind of thing that was both so big and so intimate at the same time.
So something that I love about this movie, for our listeners who are just listening to it, like Are We Still Married is a story about a husband and wife, one of which was just bitten by a bat and he became a vampire, and she's struggling with the decision to let him in the house. So I love that the conversations between the two are just so natural. Like it's almost like they're re-falling in love again. It's like a test for this relationship. But talking about the house being so cinematic, right? The house itself, I saw it as almost like a confine that was holding her back from letting this relationship like heal her and like, like being able to be in it. And there's this moment where she finally goes out of the house, and that's like the most vulnerable moment, right? It's like when you're in a new relationship and you got to reach your hand out, and it's a big leap of faith. And you play that so comedically, so beautifully, and I really loved how everything kind of like wrapped up. And so I just want to know, like, when it came to like finding these two actors and like chemistry testing, was there a chemistry test between the two? Because it just felt very like they've known each other for so long.
This is a great question. I'm so glad that was your experience watching it. It's mine too. No, we had the opposite of it. What we had was, I really want to work with Dustin and Taylor, who played Jack and Laura respectively. I'm a massive fan. Wrote them a Valentine, sent them the script, got the two of them to both say yes, but there was only about like 3 days they were going to be in LA at the same time. So there was so little overlap. So like, I mean, I want to do like all kinds of artsy, I'm not allowed to curse on this podcast.
You can curse on the podcast.
Artsy shit. Like I want to like do an escape room with them. I want to like make dinner together. I want to do like cast bonding stuff. And just was not able to. They had to meet on the day. Wow. And, but I had a lot of faith because they're both knowing both them individually. It's like when you think you're like, oh, my two friends would really like each other. I want to, it's like game recognizes game, right? So you see two people that are just like deeply generous and lovely, so funny, take their work seriously, but not themselves seriously. And I was like, oh, this feels like, to the point of chemistry, this feels like it's going to be a good chemistry experiment. You don't totally know, but
it's like you're playing matchmaker.
Yeah,
at this point.
a little. Yeah, that's what I think that's what casting is. It's just playing matchmaker left and right. But I didn't know for sure. But they are, again, we're shooting in a house, so the green room is like a 4-year-old's bedroom. So like they're getting hair and makeup done in a 4-year-old's bedroom. And I'm walking by the open door and I hear them in like the most intense debate about which Housewives franchise is the superior Housewives franchise.
Wow.
And I was like, this is going to be great.
Wow,
you
already know it's going to be amazing.
It was such a relief. I was like, oh, great. They both like Housewives so much. Like, and again, like I think throughout the process, they took such tremendous care of each other. Again, they're actors, they're meeting on the day, they're professionals.
Yes.
But I think, again, I think that the quality of their work speaks to the generosity of their spirits.
I think their performances are so absolutely strong that it should be studied. And I'm not like bullshitting you here, like, because to know that they met on the day and to see how intimate they react to each other and how much there's so much history between the two. How it's hard to play you want to love, but you're holding yourself back for a decision that's just as simple as letting someone in the house, right? Like it even took me a while to even figure out like what the core ideal was, because immediately you set it up as just a couple having a fight. They're just having an argument and you're immediately transported to this situation. And then when you go, oh, but the twist is that he's a vampire, then everything just comes together like just so amazingly. Also, I just want to give some flowers specifically to Taylor, because like I've been loving her since Dave. Like I like to call this the continuation of Dave.
Hell yes.
Like,
hell yes,
so
baby.
just let her know that I'm like, hey,
will.
this is my canon, like, you know, head canon. Like,
I
of
will.
that.
I
It's
will.
incredible. Have you seen Dave at all?
Yeah, she's my favorite part of Dave. That's why I wrote her a Valentine. It
Yeah.
was like it was a lot about how much I love her on Dave.
Okay, great. Because like I, as soon as I saw her appear on screen, the first thing I thought of was, I fucked the whole thing up. I did it all backwards. I'm like, oh, she's fighting happiness. She's doing just fine. So you shot this over the course of
3 nights.
3 nights.
Yeah.
Like I know, so it's so funny because I was at Sundance recently.
Sure, yeah.
And I went to this panel with like a bunch of amazing filmmakers, and one of them was making shorts. And it was funny because she was talking about how there's always a need to justify that you made a short when you're trying to make a feature.
Yeah.
And, you know, whenever we talk about movies, like it's hard to make a movie. Like things can break, like, you know, timing and everything. How hard was it specifically to make this movie? Because 3 nights, like even for a short, is a lot. So did you feel any like pressure like leading up to like making it, or was it just kind of?
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is we've been trying to make it for about 6 months. So the time that as chaotic as a film set can be. And I think this one was even middle of the night shoots can be especially like you start to feel like you're in The Shining. Like you can feel a little crazy being up in the middle of the night for multiple nights. So it's a weird feeling, but honestly, we went through so many left turns. We were supposed to shoot the weekend of the LA wildfires in 2025. So by the time we were there, it was like, I'm just so happy to be here. I was so grateful. I was like down on my knees grateful. So like it's any challenge that we encountered on the day, by which I mean the 3 nights we were shooting, was infinitely superior to not making this thing at all, or to like pushing once again and wondering if we were ever going to make it. So truthfully, I was just so happy to be there. I was like, well, whatever happens, we'll roll with it.
I just want to let you know it came out amazingly.
Thank
and it's
you.
honestly a short that I'm going to be recommending to everybody, because I think it's something, it's so interesting, and like I feel like a lot of people will gravitate towards it. So amazing job on that short.
That means the world. Thank you.
Yeah.
From one goofy movie fan to another, thank you so much. Truly.
Listen, me and you, like, we're tied together forever.
I just
now.
hope we get to see each other sometime, so I can learn the power line dance accurately from
I will
the master.
I will teach you the power
Because you
line
watch
dance.
it, you watch animated figures do it, and it's like, I'm not animated. How do I do that? So at
Trust
some
me.
point, it would be my greatest honor.
Me and 2 of my closest friends, we do it together whenever we hear the song. It's like a choreographed thing. So I'll send you a video of us doing it. It's pretty awesome. And we're also dressed as Powerline too. So I think you'll like that.
That would be the gift of my year of 2026. Thank you so much for your time.
I got you. Thank you for your time. Oh my God, stop it. You came to me. I'm like,
what
oh my
a
God,
wild
she's
joy.
here.
In a beautiful hotel. It was great.
I know, right? We're chilling.
Everybody won. Thank you so much.
We all won here. Oh my gosh. And thank you so much at home listening and watching. And as always, can I be your movie guy?
I'm James Urbaniak.
I'm Bria Grant.
I'm Jessica Van.
I'm Ed Darty.
I'm James A. Janice.
This is Grind, and you're on Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy.
Okay.
The grind team knows what they're doing.
It was harmonious, and I loved every second of it. Now, let's talk about grind. I watched this movie over the course of like a couple days because I had to watch it multiple times because there's so much to dive into. It's multiple vignettes, each one more fucked up than the last. And I had so much fun with it. My God. Like, you know what the first thing I thought about was? I said, James is going to have to put himself in his own kill count.
Yeah.
Oh my God, James, are you going to?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Of course. But I have to raise an issue because you are killed off screen. Is that okay? I will get the dull machete. Okay. Yeah.
You will get the dull machete.
You're going to get the lamest kill award. Yeah.
Talk about integrity.
I know.
Talk about
That's
the integrity.
good, yeah.
He's like doing it already. Were you like, when the bodies start to drop, were you already thinking like, that's a kill count, that's a kill count? I can't wait to talk about this.
You know, it kind of just runs in my brain nonstop, 24/7. Yeah, natural disasters, just everything. It's real dark. It's real dark.
It never stops for you.
He turns on the news, he's working.
Now, what I really liked about this, it's like it's almost like a more comedic and in a lot of ways more fucked up Black Mirror type of thing.
Yes.
And it takes on like the gig economy, right? And you don't really see stuff like that. I'm like, Uber, like door dashing things could be dangerous. What the fuck? So like, I want to know like, where did those inspirations come? Were you just sitting at home one day? Was that a door dasher who just showed up and you just said, what if this guy was evil?
We do order a lot of DoorDash when we're working.
We don't feel good about it though.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, horror is at its best when it's tackling what we're all anxious about, right? And we looked around and all of our friends are anxious about working multiple jobs, the gig economy. Everyone we know has a side hustle, so it just made sense for us to write something in that space and really use the genre of horror to tackle it.
We threw up every bad job we could think of on a whiteboard, and then we fought it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But delivery felt like it's so iconic in this gig economy. If we didn't do it, everyone would be saying, they're going to do that in Grind too?
Honestly, I would love it. I didn't even think about this, but I would love a Grind too.
Well, we're taking pitches for jobs if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now I gotta know, like, what were some like things that were on that board that did not make it into the film that you think people would be interested in?
Pet sitting was definitely one. We have a lot of friends that do pet sitting, and that was on there for a long time as like because like there's like Rover and a bunch of other gig economy based.
I don't know where we really would have taken it, but the idea was going to be that the person goes to pet sit a dog, and it turns out to be Dogman.
Yeah.
So then Dogman ended up in content moderation.
Wait.
So it was going to be a naked guy.
Okay, like now forgive me because I have an 8-year-old daughter, and she's obsessed with the Dogman books.
Oh, yeah.
So when you said he's going to be Dogman, I literally thought of a humanoid like Dogman. Like,
there's a guy in our movie we call Dogman because he is in these like mess up videos that are in the third segment, and his name's Dogman.
Right.
So we probably should have thought about that.
I just had a daughter. She's 1 year old, so now I'm getting into the whole world of this. So now I know who Dogman is.
That was the same thing with me. I was a big Captain Underpants guy, and Dogman, but now she's in Dogman and she hates Captain Underpants, so we have a little war going on in our house. She is. She always wins. She wins everything. She's only 8. It's only up from here for her and down for me. Now we need to bring this to you because
that's a professional.
We talked about how much I hate glitter. You got a surprise for you. No, you got.
I literally looked.
I was about to say we literally hugged. Don't let me look down and be like, oh gosh.
I want your place to be magical.
Okay.
Give it some light.
Okay, fine.
Remember us forever.
Yeah. It will stick forever too. It's glitter, so it actually will happen. But how did that glitter pan out? Did you really have to swallow glitter, or was there like a packet, or like what was the dynamic of that? Like walk down the mechanics of like how that worked out.
It was real glitter. It was super fun. So Bria came to me, and this is really her genius idea, but she comes to me and she's like, okay, so we need you to, have glitter. Like eat glitter, and we have 3 different kinds of glitter. I promise you, they are edible and they're safe for consumption.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
I would never.
She's like, they don't taste very good.
I
swear I tried them all. I'm like, hey, look, guys, if I, die tomorrow, then you'll know why.
Glitter.
It was the glitter that they poisoned me with during this movie, and it'll be on screen forever. But but she's like, okay, so here's 3 types, try them all. Like, which one, like, are you okay with these? And we literally every take, and it was hard to kind of figure it out because you have to like get it so that it's in there, because I like swallow water, I like drink other things,
right?
So I have to kind of like have it like ready
to go.
And but not so ready to go that it melts. So it's like it was like a timing thing. It was not easy.
Yeah, it really was. And it's edible. Yeah, so it did melt.
Yeah.
So we did have to I remember us waiting to the last minute to call for you to start. Basically, we start the camera rolling, and then you had to hold your tongue out kind of in a shape like this, and then just blow it. So, but yeah, there was a lot of glitter.
And kind of try to give it a little projectile.
Projectile glitter. Because you don't want it to
the tough
dribble
acting
out.
job.
Glitter that dribbles is not glitter. That's
when I
just...
train in acting, they were like, listen, there's a special class called Glitter 101, and this is for those really important Oscar-winning roles where you might have to projectile vomit glitter. And so
Madison was in your class, right?
Yes, exactly. We studied really hard.
I'm over here thinking of just an actual class or something. Welcome to Glitter Class 101. I'm your glitter instructor.
Juju, I'm just glad that you mentioned that you find glitter triggering because it is a horror anthology, so that sequence was very
it literally
effective
was
for
the
you.
most horrible thing in the movie for me. Because you could have did anything else, she can't really taste things, or she vomits or projectiles.
I will remind you all that there is a shot of a person taking a hammer and approaching a baby with it, and Juju said that the glitter is the most horrifying thing in the movie for him.
Juju has an 8-year-old daughter,
Exactly.
so this may be something that's particularly traumatizing for him.
Yeah, no, honestly, and I can explain that. Because I've seen horrible things. I haven't seen, but I've heard and experienced babies getting horrified and doing bad. Game of Thrones, it's bad. It's a terrible thing. And so I feel like I've seen the apex of baby violations. Oh, no. So going to a baby with a hammer and cutting away, I was like, I can handle that. Glitter
spewing from someone's mouth. That's a
from
different ball game.
Immediately when I turned off the movie, I went to sleep, and that's all I could think about was the glitter moment. So I was just like, damn, they really got me. It's
that's
a very
amazing.
Niche. Yeah.
When you went to sleep and closed your eyes, there was glitter?
I could talk about my fear of glitter in this movie with you guys all day, but I know I didn't get to James that much, so I need to give him his time because, dude,
he's so good.
I need you to tell me, even taking yourself out of it, which one was your favorite vignette that was horrifying to you?
Oh, the most horrifying to me. Probably, not because I'm in it, but probably the one I'm in, which is it's basically set in an office. And before I made a living doing this, I temped in offices for many years. Mm-hmm. And there is some, that is triggering to me.
Oh, yeah.
The sort of clock watching nightmare of that 9-to-5 world.
You see, there's people getting stabbed, there's babies almost getting hammered, but it's the 9-to-5. That scares us all.
The movie's a Rorschach test for whatever triggers you,
And
glitter,
that's
offices.
That's what makes it great. That means you guys have made something amazing, and I'm so happy I got to talk to you guys about it. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Oh
this is so fun.
This was amazing. Oh my God. I love you guys
Your
so
vibe
much.
is so glittery. I love it.
I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that. Having a glittery vibe, I just don't want to see it. That's all. Thank you so much for listening and watching it. As always, can I be your movie guy?
Hi, I'm John Goodman.
Judy Greer.
Ed Benda. And this is Chili Finger with Straw
Hat
Goofy.
Get wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy.
All right. For one thing I want to say before I get started, Juju, it's very nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Juju.
We did. She was on the show for The Long Walk.
Yeah.
Had a nice conversation about that.
We had so much fun.
We had a lot of fun. So she's a very experienced member of the Get Wrecked family already.
Yeah. I've been wrecked.
You've been wrecked. And you're here for seconds.
Yeah. I'm here for more wreckage.
But now I want to talk about your movie, guys, because this movie was incredibly bonkers. It's insane. It goes places I was not expecting it to go. Every performance in it is just pitch perfect in my opinion. And I just need to know, where exactly did this story come from? Did you find an article where somebody's finger got put into some chili? Yes. Please elaborate.
Yeah. So yes, there is an article that is a woman finds a human finger in her bowl of chili. So I remember seeing that honestly, over a decade ago now, and thinking, well, that's just such a great hook for a dark comedy. Stored it away somewhere, and it wasn't until the pandemic where I had this unstructured time on my hands that sat down and said, I'm gonna try and write that story and see where it goes. So then from there, it was Ed and I developing it over the next, that was 6 years ago now, and here we are today.
My gosh. And like the thing is like like I said, the movie goes into places that I was not expecting it. So the fact that you were able to like extrapolate an entire narrative around this, that it feels a lot like Burn After Reading. How like everything kind of revolves around this one thing, and all these characters are after something different. But I want to bring it to our actors because you guys crush it in this movie in so many different types of ways.
Finish your thought.
You're amazing, Juju.
Keep going, Juju.
So I feel like you guys have like two completely different performances. So I'm gonna start with Judy. I feel like a lot of people have seen you in like the mom role before, and we talked about this. I called you Hollywood's mother. And the movie starts, and I said, like, look at her being a nice old mom again. And it just feels like you yourself threw that notion out the window.
I kind of did, I know. I was like, I got to stop playing these sad moms, unless these sad moms are psychopathic.
I mean, you still got sad mom in there, but you're doing something about it.
Yes, she's much more empowered, this mom. I play Jess, and she is, it's sort of that like idea of like it's like the characters I have played in supporting roles in other films, which I love and I'm thankful for, but this is like her story.
Right.
And where does the sadness come from, and how does she get it out of her system, and like why does she keep making horrible mistakes? I think I love the stakes of this movie are really high, and this is like a woman I felt like my friends and I could relate to, but also who just keeps pouring it on. She can't stop herself. It was just like nothing I'd ever read before, and hugely flattering that they sent it to me.
I mean, you deserve it, to be honest. Like,
She does.
Can I say this? It's about goddamn time.
Oh,
it's about goddamn time. A theme that I want to like touch on a little bit is the theme of parenthood, right? And how like we all know we all want to do something for our kids, right? No matter the cost. And there's two characters, your character and as well as the expectant father of the movie, right? And like
Paul Stanko,
you know what I'm saying? Can we talk about the dichotomy of like doing anything for your kid? And let's like talk about that, because that was like one of the most fascinating things to me.
Well, I think, you know, certainly at the heart of this movie is motherhood. And we wanted to take the idea of movies often stick with the kids and what happens with their lives.
Right.
And so we wanted to focus on parents. And so that became like our guiding light is using that as like a reflective device. And within our movie, we have three distinct parental relationships.
Yes.
We have Judy and her daughter who's going to college. We have Paul Stanko, who's playing Trevor, and then we have Sarah Herman playing Nia as our expectant mother, and they're dealing with that. And then we have John as Blake Jr., the first, dealing with the transition of his legacy to his daughter.
Right.
And those three relationships are all very different, and they're all reconciling with these transition points in their lives. And I think that's what resonates with audiences, is there's accessibility in all of those.
So, John, now since we're on the topic of parenthood and you and your daughter in this film, I've seen you be scary before. 10 Cloverfield Lane is one of my favorite like thrillers, and I think you deserved an Oscar nomination for that, like full stop, because you were just so threatening with just like standing there, and you had that steely look about you. You have a little bit of that here that I like to call Ronald McDonald's revenge. Right? Like imagine like the founder of a fast food joint coming after you and being like, hey, who's trying to fuck up his legacy?
Hi, welcome to Blake Jr.'s, and I will kill you.
So can you talk to me about kind of like stepping into this role of like, because you're not necessarily a bad guy, but you're just very serious about like your legacy, and you don't want to pass it off just yet. You don't want to trust your daughter with it just yet. You very much want to put things into your own hands. So talk to me about like taking on
this
that
guy,
role.
you know, rented some counter space somewhere and cleaned the pots, scrubbed the grill, started making hamburgers, tried to make them better, fries. You know, you deal with food distributors, all this stuff from the ground up. His daughter comes in with an MBA, and you got to turn it over sometime, probably because people say you have to, but he's trying to do the right thing by her, but he hates it. He just not ready to give up, and especially to a smart-ass kid who has proved herself more than capable. He resents the hell out of it. and hilarity ensues.
Yeah, the thing that like I liked about it enough is exactly what you're saying is, when it comes to who we are and like when we work in these parameters of like work, like obviously the new is always going to come in and push us out. And, you could attribute this to like conversations like AI and stuff like that. It's here to stay. How can, you know what I'm saying?
I just did a panel about that.
So like you can either go with it or you can like work with it. And I felt like your character definitely kind of like embodied I'm not willing to let this go, even though she is more qualified to the point where you would do anything to like make sure you're the guy.
Never scrubbed a pot in her life.
Oh, yeah, microphone.
For me, I do. I'm not gonna say it.
She's never scrubbed a pot in your life, is what you said, and I'm glad you gave that perspective on that. So now I gotta ask you, like, when things really start to hit the fan, right? Because it's one thing to go from like chili finger and there's negotiations and everything's gonna be hunky dory.
Yeah.
But then it gets really dark, really gruesome, really fast. Can you talk to me about like managing that switch and not making it happen too quick, or like just like timing that just right so the audience isn't like, wait, where the fuck did this come from, right?
Yeah, I was really noticing the pace of the movie last night at our screening because it was my second time watching the film, and I was really excited that there was like that. The filmmakers who are sitting behind me got to them. Yes, that there was like a crazy thing would happen, and then we like let the audience get used to that happening, and then a crazy thing would happen, and then we let the audience like let that sink in for a minute, and then another crazy thing would happen, and we let that sink in. And I just thought that was so much more interesting than just like bam, 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 bam. Like I really love that, and I love it too as an actor because we got to have really actual meaningful scenes in the midst of all the
and the
mania.
The film really trusts its audience.
Yeah.
And thank God it paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the movie like lays these breadcrumbs that later come for like in the film. It makes you go, oh my God, yes. And I've been saying this a lot because there's a lot of great films here at South by, but I feel like you can make a good movie when you make black people talk to the screen. And I talk to the screen.
Thank you.
That's a finger. You know what I'm saying? So like you guys did a wonderful job with that, of keeping that pace going and not letting like everyone just completely settle to the point where it gets that it's a roller coaster of emotions. And I don't want to spoil it because the twist is like absolutely amazing, and I was just so happy when it happened. I like to ask my guests, what is a movie that changed your brain chemistry that you could recommend the podcast right now?
Ooh.
I'll start with you, Juju.
Okay, Juju. I'm gonna go with I think it was Citizen Ruth. Did we talk about this already?
We did not talk about this, actually.
Because I was like, but Citizen Ruth, I think by Alexandra Payne changed my brain chemistry because it was the first time I remember seeing. I know there have been many, but a very unlikable female lead who. Like just by accident kept ruining everything, but also was so strong, and I loved Laura Dern's performance in it, and it made me think that like you don't have to play a beautiful, like physically beautiful person to be the star of a movie.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this, all the respect in the world. You are a physically beautiful person, and you have a lot lot of that in your role here. So like,
thank you.
I
was
see.
fully fishing for that compliment.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean,
got it. Well, I feel like a trout right now.
Bye.
She caught me.
No, I mean, thank you, but I also like I aspire to like roles like that, and I feel like this is what I got to do here.
Incredible. I love it. What about you, John? I saw you go, oh.
I can't think, but the first thing that popped in my mind was Animal House.
Wow.
It's just going to sound so mundane for everybody, but I'll just say Animal House.
Listen.
It was a new birth of a new comedy.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I feel that. Listen, you said it sounds mundane. I've asked people this question. Some people think really deeply on it. We've had multiple people here say Shrek. So somebody wanted to say Secret Life of Pets. The reason why I asked this question is because it's very personal to you. It doesn't have to be like the most cinephile answer, but I liked Animal House answer for sure.
Well, to give a cinephile,
go ahead.
And now we get our cinephile.
Yes, the baby carriage. It just kept going. The first one, when I was in high school, there was an art house theater in Royal Oak, Michigan, and they screened Darjeeling Limited, and that came quickly to mind because they screened it with the short ahead of it. and then the color in that film and the performances in that film and how witty and unique the style of conversation is. And of course, you know, it's Wes, and that's my introduction to him.
Wow.
That was one of the first filmmakers. I then went down a rabbit hole of what an aesthetic could be, and obviously he's a master of aesthetic. But I remember so distinctly, I was there for Darjeeling Limited, and then it opens with that beautiful short, and then the movie plays, and I was like, oh, this is I have never experienced something like this in a theater, and that was really special.
That's incredible. And Wes has created his own genre at this point.
He really has.
It's literally that. It's like
plus the cat lives in Paris.
This is really great. We're gonna get a Pixar movie about a cat living in Italy, so I love these type of. It's like a double feature that we can get into now. Exactly, animals in strange places.
For me, it would have to be No Country for Old Men. That just broke my brain for seeing that you could take your archetypal like cowboy hero and then to just not only kill him, but kill him, spoilers, but like kill him off camera, off screen, and to use that story structure and subversion like in service of the theme that you're trying to explore and tell. Like that was mind-blowing.
I mean, and also like Anton Chigurh is just a force of nature in that movie. He doesn't really feel like a man. He feels literally like this constant in the universe, and I love that about it. Also, to your point of like killing off the main character, it fucked me up so bad. I didn't think that was real until like my fifth watch.
It's so unsettling.
It's so like I just see this like because they only show like the bottom of his feet,
the
doorway,
it's far away,
but it just makes so much sense.
And that's Roger, man. It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's like just to do away with the character like that you were following so long. I don't think we've seen anything like that since Psycho, right? Like it was very much like that. So I'm glad that you brought that up. It's incredible.
Wait, what's yours?
Oh, you want mine?
I kind of do.
I got a couple. So like I've been saying Spider-Man 2 from Sam Raimi. Like,
that's a good one.
I've said this a lot. I'll say it again. It was the first time where it took a character that as a child I just saw in cartoons and comic books, TV shows, and it was just the guy in spandex that saved people with spider powers. But Spider-Man 2 was the first time that I saw a movie that could take a piece of subject matter and source material that made me, as a man, I say a man, I was 12, but made me understand what responsibility meant, right? This is a person who had a shitty job. He had no social relationships to speak of. He ruins a lot of his social relationships because he sacrificed those to do the right thing. And that's what made me realize that responsibility requires sacrifice. And as a child, like a 12-year-old, I'm like, this is what being a man is about. And Spider-Man of all things, right? So I like everything about that movie. Even when I first saw the poster, and it was the back of Spider-Man, his eye visor had Doc Ock in it, played by Alfred Molina, but it was the tagline that got me, and it said, responsibility is destiny, or destiny is responsibility, or something like that. I remember looking up at like that going, what does that mean? And then I saw the movie and thought, that's what that means. So Spider-Man 2 is that, but
great
also
video
Heard
game
by Spike
too.
Jones as well. Heard by Spike Jones as well. Like that one wrecked my brain.
I love the way you love movies, man.
I know. I'm telling you, this is the best interview that.
Thank you.
Don't make me cry.
No, the best, Juju.
Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna cry now. Thank you for joining me and talking about Chili Finger. Watch Chili Finger.
Please.
As always, can I be your movie guy?
I'm Katie Hazelton.
I'm Chosen Jacobs.
I'm Aura Duplass.
This is their town,
and you're on Get
Wrecked. Dry House Goof.
Don't hit like.
You heard
subscribe.
them. You heard them. Now let's talk about your movie, because like I was absolutely in love with this movie. I love coming of age films. I love when you have a coming of age film that feels like the opposite of a bottle episode, which is like you take two characters and you just have them wander. Can you talk to me about kind of like the mechanics of creating a narrative that's just like you guys walking everywhere, and like kind of like what is that timeline even like? Do you just shoot it over the course of multiple nights, one night? Like I need to know everything about it.
Yeah, the whole sort of idea of it was to sort of tap in to sort of what we all got to experience as kids in the 90s, right? Which was analog and like getting bored. And one of the reasons why we set it in sort of this desolate, dying town is because it hasn't been touched by like modern conveniences, you know, and it felt like a place that maybe we could have been when we were their age, you know, and we obviously are like heavily influenced by Linklater and Before Sunrise and that whole trilogy, and how beautiful it is to just spend time with two people getting to know each other without the distractions of the outside world. And so the idea that these two kids could connect over the course of an evening just walking around, it also felt very nostalgic for a time that like maybe doesn't exist as much in the same way that we all sort of like want the 90s back a little bit. And so the crazy thing about doing that is then you are shooting all nights, walking around with cameras and your actors, and it was like it was the thing. We like joked earlier that we should have had Fitbits on them to be like, how many steps did we get in?
This was our long walk. So
It was your long walk.
This is our long walk.
We just had Judy Greer here just a second ago who was in the long walk, so that's hilarious. I like what you said about kind of like the longing for like the 90s and connection. Like I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, so I remember like being at the center of going to the park, riding the bikes, like going out for walks with my friends, but then coming back in and playing video games. That's like, it was such a unique time to connect with each other. And I want to bring it to you two now because you guys have this scene that's in the end of the movie, and we're not going to spoil it here, but it's a knockout scene where you guys are just like doing this acting exercise and real emotions are coming out, and there's like this real vulnerability between you two happening. Can you two like walk me through like the day of like shooting that? Was it difficult, or was it just kind of something that you guys helped each other with?
I mean, I would definitely say that it was not difficult. It's like it never was. It never felt difficult with you at all. Like it just definitely, it always felt real and like it was coming from a real place, and like nothing ever felt forced. And so honestly, like when we came into this, I like didn't know much about Meisner. I'd taken maybe like one little class and was like bored. And so I was like, wait, what is it again? I was like, okay, cool. And then we shot it and I was trying to get into it, and then we reached a point where I was like, I'm saying these words, but what I'm feeling and what I'm really saying to you and emoting to you is something so different, and you're receiving that completely and you're emoting based off of that and not what I'm saying to you. And so it became just this back and forth of like, you know, we weren't directed to say the line a certain amount of times. We would just say, we would switch to the next thing when we felt like the other
spirit
person
moved you.
Yeah, the spirit moved us, or the other person felt the real message underneath. And sometimes that would change in each take. And yeah, it felt like a really smooth flow. It didn't feel like we had like pressure to cry or anything. We didn't know what the emotions for that scene were necessarily going to be.
It felt like you were really going through that and feeling something out of that, right?
Completely. Yeah.
I feel like that's the beauty of like filmmaking or art, is there's a certain amount of faith that comes with it, right? Like you can practice all you want, you can have great talent all around you, and they give us an environment to be able to have fun. But it's like when they say action, this is the moment. And I think just one of those things that you just, like for me, I'm like just praying, like, all right, I know this is a moment I want to connect and I want to share with the world. And you just want to be as transparent and real as you possibly can. And when it goes that way, when it's always different than you expected, that's what every actor, I feel like, prays for, is when it's like, man, you wait for these moments, you wait for these scripts to have a chance to just have a rich moment and be like, okay, this is something that we can just really sink our teeth in. And Aura, she's got the goods, you know, so just partnering with her, and we had a trust there, and Katie, they just facilitated a space for us to play.
So I love the fact that moment is where the movie kind of like, it takes its final bow, right? And like I feel like, you know, in most movies that try to do that, they like shy away from it and try to give some type of epilogue, like where are they now, what happens after this? Whereas like I feel like, again, going back to our original point at the top of this podcast, is it's all about connection. And at this moment, these two have connected. That's what the story
That's
is
what
about.
matters. It doesn't matter what connection it is.
Exactly. And so like when it ended, I was like, oh, Nice. It gave me like a little warm like feeling like right here. And like I don't think many movies are doing that anymore to trust their audience to understand that. So I just want to applaud all of you for like landing that plane. Now I want to get into the part of the pod because I will kill myself if I don't ask you guys this. Not necessarily kill myself. Sorry, guys.
Not literally. Don't put him on watch. He's fine.
Hyperbole, guys. But I have to ask you guys, like, what is a movie that changed your brain chemistry and created the building blocks to who you are, like as a person?
I would say for me, it's like Cassavetes' stuff that he did with Jenna, like Woman Under the Influence. For me, to watch a woman like lose her shit so wildly, and it almost felt unsafe, but I felt like I was so cared for by the filmmakers. Right. So I would say like, yeah, that one for me. And also maybe Broadcast News and Holly Hunter, which is like the most contained performance, and she's holding everything so tightly, which is like the polar opposite. Like the two ends of the spectrum with those two actresses is like it just, I don't know. It totally broke my mind open of like, there's 1,000 different ways to do this.
You know, hearing you say that, I'm looking at Aura's character in the movie and I'm like, I see where you get your character from now. Like, cause there's a lot of influences from that. So you've created one. So that's pretty cool.
You go first.
I got you. Like, come back to me. I would say that I feel like there's so many that have shaped me in so many different ways that I don't think you can pinpoint to one that like was the one, or at least for me, but one of them was definitely My Girl. That my parents, you know, growing up in a filmmaker house, you're like, no, it's so good. And growing up in like a filmmaking household, they're showing you like all of the greats like early on, and I like wasn't ready for that.
You're not ready for that movie.
I was not ready for that, but I watched it and I had never cried so much in a movie. And I also watched it at such a young age where I was like,
you were like her age.
And I was like, I want to do this. Like and I was like seeing someone be so young and convey something so beautiful and make me cry like that. And like, first of all, yes, the film is incredible. Absolutely. And like, if you haven't seen it, you're crazy.
Shout out Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, fully.
Stay away from the bees.
Stay away from the bees.
There's so many of them.
Put your glasses on and stay away from the bees.
There's so many of them.
But yeah, I think that was a big one for me, was just the amount of emotion that brought me, and wanting to also convey that someday in some way, and being able to have a movie transform you and make you feel that deeply is such a beautiful thing.
I do think it is wild when you do see a movie at a young age and can so deeply connect and see yourself in the actress. Like I remember seeing Reese Witherspoon in Man in the Moon when I was like 13. Yes. We were about the same age, and I've told Reese this story, and she's like, "Oh, bless your heart." But it is wild when especially when it moves you so deep in your soul. You're like, well, I have no choice but to be an actor now.
Yeah. I didn't become an actor, but that was me with seeing Michael B. Jordan in Hardball with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, God,
yeah. I was like, because those kids were my age, like when I first saw it, and I didn't play baseball or anything, but I grew up in Compton, so like all those circumstances just felt like catered to me, and like seeing those kids win, you're just like, I can win. You know what I'm saying? It's great. All right, Chelsea, you've been ducking long enough, bro.
All right, I know. So I got two. I have two. It would be The Great Gatsby, Baz Luhrmann.
Ooh.
The reason why I say that, one,
I mean, look
style,
at his tie. Come on.
Style-wise, I've been in suits since I was in kindergarten. I love suits. I love that whole aesthetic they put together, and I think secondly, just that combination of film and music, and that even kind of shows up here where we created the end credit song, for the film. But just seeing how you can put all sorts of art together, and I feel like that's when it becomes so powerful, where it's like you have a visual that matches the audio, that matches the story, and that's what I strive for in everything, because I feel like that's, even like you said, you just did for Sinners. That's a great example where when you can get those three to touch, I think that's when you shift culture, because when you walk down the street, you know what your city sounds like. Even though you know what it looks like, but you know what it sounds like. So I want that in every film I do.
How old are you?
Isn't he such a ding dong, this kid?
Like, I'm sorry.
You're like, what?
God dang, man.
But it's real, you know. So that's the beauty of that translation. It's all the same.
Okay.
It's just put it all together, and yeah.
You guys get to spend time with this.
He's
all
the
time.
most special. Like, truly.
So awesome.
When
But
he
also
walked-
regular.
When
But
he,
also regular.
But also
Very-
regular. But
he's
also
like the
regular.
most regular. No, when he walked in for his chemistry read, he just like
No
oozes
question.
magic. You
Yeah.
know, they're like to his soul, he is just as lovely. And your tape even.
Hey, I'm blessed to work with great people. You know, like I said, I have no disillusion. We can train all we want, but to have a team like this, a moment like this, and to be able to come together and
It's a collaboration, man.
collaborate.
Specific,
That's what makes
yeah.
film amazing. You can't do it alone. You have to build.
He's
And
gonna be a director one day. I already know.
I
can
hope
see
he
that.
hires
I can
me.
see that.
Hey, come on, we're gonna work together. We're gonna keep building.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me about your
Thank
movie, y'all. This
you.
has been an amazing conversation.
This
I
is
love it.
awesome.
So
Thank you,
much.
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank y'all for watching and listening. And as always, can I be your movie guy?